Hit it!
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What you talking about?
All young men with suits and ties, just sitting in the crowd smoking big cigars. I hope you're ready for what's coming now. I'm the one, I'm the lady that will bring you down. There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the river, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one, I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this
Okay, now, from the beginning.
There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the river, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one, I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place.
Hey everybody! How's everyone
That was quite
doing?
the intro. Quite the intro, my friend. Very nice.
You know, I gotta raise my game. How's our audio, everybody? Making sure we're all good.
What's up, everyone? How was everybody doing? Been a long time since we've been on camera together, bro. It's been a minute.
Oh man, it's been so busy ever since we got all these TVs in, and the Bravia 9 literally is right behind me. It just arrived today, as well as the
Okay.
quad. So I'll be reviewing the Bravia 9 in the context of, well, the Bravia 9 and how it sounds with the quad, because they, for the first time, matched the Bravia 9 tweeters to the quad so that the timbre is the same between the front and the sides. Because as you know, in the past with the HTA9, I highly recommend do not turn on the Sony as a center channel. It doesn't matter which TV it is, it simply does not sound as good as just
Oh,
having the
nice.
HTA9 without the center. But this time, apparently it's different, so we'll see. All
You've
right,
already
thank
done
you,
the
Getty,
intro.
for
You've already done
confirming.
the intro. Why don't you say hello to everybody? Say things properly for jumping right in like you
Oh
always
yeah,
do.
yeah, let's jump right
My
in.
boy
So,
just jumps
hey!
right in the field and starts throwing the ball around. People are like, what is he talking about?
Hey everybody, Brian, Whisper Status, or rather, there was a Brian's Tech Therapy. Thank you for forgetting.
What's up, everyone?
Welcome to Stop the FOMO. So today's live stream, the theme is Mini LED, but it's only Mini LED, especially given the price of the Bravia 9 is so high. They're like, how are you paying so much? But it's only Mini LED. But I want to expand that. Forget the Bravia 9 for a moment. Like right here, I have on display is the QM51G, and the reason I wanted to put this is Mini LED LCD TV has come so far. As you look at these very difficult scenes, right, between HDR 4000 all the way down to the shadow details, which, you know, I'll turn up the exposure you guys can see. And the 851G has its tone mapping off so that I get maximum clarity as far as specular details. I'm telling you, and this is not calibrated, I am so blown away by how good the QM8 is in terms of contrast, luminance, accuracy, color saturation. Now, once I open the Bravia 9, so this is setting up, as you guys already know, a face off with what I think is supposed to be the top LCD TV of the year. But you guys, if you guys don't have more than 1,500 between your couches, the QM8 is so highly recommended. I'm just like,
Your couches.
I don't know
It's
what
got
to tell you.
1,500 underneath the pillows.
Oh,
Well, I'll say be careful. Be careful talking about mini LEDs these years, bro. It's dangerous out there
well,
on these
actually,
YouTube
let's
streets.
now let me set up the stage for this video, and I'm gonna let you do the spoiler because it really is your decision. Up to this point, I think all knew that the Bravia 9 would be awesome for Sony. Okay, but then we saw the G4 first, and you and I both announced the G4 is going to be the best TV of the year, and I put out a video that this is what I think is the best TV of the year because even though the Bravia 9 has not even been released yet, there is no way a mini LED has infinite contrast, and I saw enough of the B9 next to a QD OLED to say, you know what, OLED still has something on the Bravia 9. Now, to be fair, that was, I think, a 65 or 75 inch against the 77 inch QD OLED. The 85 inch, once again, appears to be the better TV. What I don't know is, Brian, for you, is the 85 inch a game changer where you may or will change your mind? Is it still the G4? Or tell me, like, you've spent so much time with the 85 inch now, compared
Well,
to the G4.
So I spent 2 days with the 85 inch. And what the 85 inch Bravia 9 brings that the other sizes can't over any OLED is size. It adds the 2 inches. Otherwise, if you're going 65 versus 65, a Bravia 9 versus any OLED, it's going to lose. It just doesn't have any real advantage. Even that brightness isn't really impactful enough at 65 inches.
Okay.
But at 75 inches, it falls below OLEDs that are 77 inches. So it loses there as well. It's only at 85 inches that it would win, simply because it is ultra bright, it is ultra detailed. The HDR impact is felt, where it's not
Right.
just something that's kind of there. The brightness is there, especially we see with Jen's content. And Robert and I watched a few movies as well, Pacific Rim, Avatar, and thought it was awesome. Now, will it pull me from the G4? The problem is I'm a PC gamer in the dark. So at that point, the G4 would still have me. But if I was buying this strictly for movies and HDR impact, I would move over to the Bravia 9 over the
So
G4. The extra,
now,
the extra
is this a change because you saw the 85 inch and it's that much better than the 65, or did you spend more time with this? Your settings are more in tune. What changed?
Look, 65 is just never going to be impactful for me, period, of any TV. They're
Okay.
just too small. Especially with LEDs. LEDs, since their inception, need to be larger. He's got a bone. What's up, Christian? Christian talks some smack. At 85, that's when LEDs, I believe, really start to stretch their legs. That's when the zone count is impactful. The peak brightness is felt, and it has that slight advantage over the smaller OLEDs. But where, say, the G4, as we've talked about, it's struggling against the QM8 in your last video, the Bravia 9 is not going to have any issue with that. It's built for that purpose of resolving that kind of brightness and that kind of gradients.
Now,
Christian, what's up?
Christian, thank you for the super
You're gonna
chat,
see me in
Christian.
person, by the way.
Christian is leaving us in suspense. FOMO,
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick with you and Brian, but especially Brian.
Especially
Okay. Let me see. Did I miss the bone? So let me look at the bone that he's picking with us. Christian, I'm assuming you're still there. What is the bone you're picking?
Well, we're going to see Christian at
Let
Emory
us
too,
know.
I believe.
Oh, you're great. He's going to pick a bone with us personally. And
He's
throw
going
it.
to hit me with the bone. Hey, what's up, partner?
So yeah, we'll wait for that bone. In the meantime, hey, thank you, Sean, for the
Sean?
super chat. I think we're early enough for Sean to come on from India. Hi, FOMO and
Sean,
Brian.
time
Hope
is
you both
over.
fine. Mine known saw Bravia 9 85 inch and Q900D 85 inches. So Sean only shops in the 85 inch arena, like you, Brian.
Attaboy.
And he
Heavyweight.
tried the Shield TV on both the 900D and the Bravia 9. Unless you're a critic, for a normal viewer, both are delightful TVs to have. Do you agree? And I have the 900D, and I have to say it is easily one of the best tone mapping systems out there. Not as bright as the QM8, But for most people, you're not going to notice that brightness difference because, as we've seen, there's not a lot of content with HDR above 1000 nits. For 99.9% of the content, the 900D is bright enough, it looks amazing. Okay, the processing for motion sports is amazing. I need to compare it next to the 65-inch. I will. The Bravia 965 will be near the 900D, and we'll see how that goes. So, in theory, I agree, but I cannot say. But Brian, have you seen the 900D next to the Bravia 9?
Bro, your optimism, you're like, FOMO was so passive aggressive, negative. He's like, we'll see how that goes. First of all, I mean, it's going to sound ridiculous, but the 900D at 85 inches is a different beast as well. So
Okay.
at 75 inches, we had it against the 77-inch S95D and the 83-inch G4, and it got annihilated. At 85 inches, that TV is also a different animal. This is something to do with the way LEDs show themselves. So they're just more impactful. For me, the Bravia 9 is over the 900D simply because of its signature. Samsung's signature is still to gray out the blacks, lower the brightness a bit to compensate for the blooming. The Bravia 9 just doesn't care. It just stays full blast, and the local dimming is good enough to where it keeps blooming at bay. So for me, picture quality wise, the Bravia 9 is the better TV. It just has a clearer image, it's brighter, and it doesn't do that. Because FOMO, you and I saw where there was times when the 900D would simply dim itself a little bit, and it shouldn't be dimmer. The Bravia 9 is very much like the Z9K, where it's like, hell no, let's keep rocking it, and that's it. So I would go with the Bravia 9 over. It's just a better TV, and it just keeps the image consistent.
And I want to follow up with Sean again because it's 2 a.m., so he's going to make it fast. Let's get this question out of the way for him. It's 2 a.m., so we'll make it fast. First time, can't get a Samsung 85-inch 900 series as it's out of stock. The Sony Bravia 9, I couldn't see as it's not available. Are people buying bigger TVs worldwide or just a passing phase? So, Sean, here's the thing you have to consider. The bigger TVs are selling like hotcakes. Hisense, TCL, just all the makers are noticing they're selling 85-inch TVs a lot in many more multiples this year than just the year before. So like 2023, record sales of 85-inch compared to this year prior. And the Hisense 100-inch TVs, they had a problem keeping them in stock, as well as TCL. So people are definitely going 85-inch plus. It is so popular that TCL is now adding a new manufacturing generation so they can produce 130-inch TVs. I mean, let me repeat this. The demand for large TVs is so great, and we're not talking $20,000 130-inch TVs, my friends. We're talking in about 2 years or so, I expect it to be under $10,000. It's insane because people are like, well, I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, wait, you're going to spend $8,000 on an ultra short throw or a projector. Why not make a 130-inch TV that blows them all away? So that is something that is just unexpected. I didn't think they'd get far above 110, Brian, and I don't know how you're going to get it through the door because I have to see what the vertical length, the vertical height is. But ultimately, anything above 130, it looks like they'll probably tile it into multiple smaller sizes, maybe 4 smaller tiles. But still, 130 inches. Wow. So the answer to you, Sean, is it's not a passing phase. And it's the U.S., which has the large rooms. So in anywhere else in the world, it's not even a phase they can get into. You can't even fit an 85-inch, forget 100, right?
Yeah.
So in many parts of the world, you're lucky to get 65.
Well, FOMO, we always hear this. We got where someone says to me, this is the last TV I'm buying for 5 years. And most people, maybe not the enthusiasts that are in this channel or with us, they do buy TVs. That's what they do, and they just stay with it. So I think a lot of people have said to me that 83 is just not big enough. You know, their rooms are the same size. Like right now, if you look over my shoulder, there's an 83, and we can't see it, an 83 and a 77, and I'm probably 18 feet away, and they're both too small for this room. A lot of people have that space. If it's going to be the last TV they buy for 5 years, they're thinking, you know, I will go with 100 inches. They are very cheap in comparison to, say, a projector setup. So people are making that jump, and the processing is good enough now where a 100-inch TV 5 years ago would have been horrendous to look at. Now the processing is good enough where people are like, hey, I'll do it. I still wouldn't buy one, but, you know, that's just me.
And so
I don't think the processing is quite that good.
We have Christian's bone right here.
Uh-oh.
I think because you guys have seen the best of the best, your thoughts are
He's calling me
too
an elitist
colored.
already, Christian. Christian's already saying it.
I
Go
say
ahead.
this because I bought a Q90C on Memorial Day. Okay, guys, first of all, the Q90C is not like chicken droppings, right? The Q90C
Hold on a second. Hold
is-
on. Before you continue, Christian, look at Christian's comments.
That's like when I've got a TCL5 series or
He
something,
gives
or
me
a
the
Vizio.
plot, right? He goes, your thoughts are too colored. I say this because I bought a Q90C on Memorial Day. And what else,
Right.
Chris? Want to finish
Okay, wait.
that thought?
And let's finish the thought.
It's amazing, or
Wait, and
here's
I went to Best Buy to buy the S90C, right? I was checking it out. I saw the 85-inch 90C, Q90C in the corner. And then I went back and forth like we all do, right? I mean, this has happened to me. You could spend 4 hours just running back and forth. And just like, ah! But ultimately, he chose the Q90C for the size, 85-inch. And, okay, Christian, wait. I'm going to go first so you can go, Brian, because I know you have a lot of thoughts on this. The Q90C is a phenomenal TV. I think it was one of my favorite TVs last year. As a matter of fact, it's better than this year's QN90D. So those of you looking at a QN90D, don't. Get the Q90C. Christian, you won right there. Second, the best of the best. The Q90C is easily among the best of the best. So let's not even go there. If you said to me, I looked at this Vizio and FOMO, I got a bone to pick with you. This Vizio is awesome, right?
is a beast.
And Christian, as you can see, the QM851G is not the best of the best in terms of price, right? It's very much a value budget level TV, considering they're all 65 inches. The reason why the QM851G looks a little bit smaller is because it's about 18 inches in the back, because I have the reference monitor in front of it. So it's hard to kind of stack them properly. But ultimately, those are all three same size 65-inch TVs. And it is hanging with the OLEDs. And this is a 1,400 MSRP. It'll drop to 1,200 at some point. I'm hoping it does so I can get a price adjustment from Best Buy. But either way, Christian, all these TVs are so good now. And the Bravia 9, I haven't even unboxed it. I'm going to unbox it after this live stream. I have my fears. I am wondering if the Bravia 9 can keep up with the QM851G. But Christian, bravo, because what have you always said, Brian? This is a segue to your response. Go bigger. Go bigger. My friend, what do you think of Christian's bone?
All right. So, Christian, first of all, I know we're going to see you at M-Wave, so you better bring that same energy. But here's the funny thing. So people often criticize us that we don't say bad things about certain TVs. We don't beat up TVs. Well, you've just said it. We do see the best of the best every year for the last 5 years. So it's really not hard to not say this is garbage, because simply none of them are. None of them are like, hey, this thing is terrible, awful, can't. Well, he's got another comment. Danny's spending more money to talk. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say to you is when I see a TV for the first time, and the QN90D is a good example of FOMO, because we were together at Samsung, and you didn't like it that much. A couple of the other guys didn't like it. I saw it in a vacuum, Christian. What I'm telling you is every one of these TVs should be seen alone first. I don't care who compares them, who films them. They should never be with anything else initially. Give it its shot alone. And I promise you, you'll view it differently. It's when you put an A80L against a QD OLED that the A80L maybe looks a little bit different. Now, you'd be very happy with the top 4 or 5 TVs every year. Everyone in this chat would be happy until we compare them. That's why I don't compare them until the end of the year. So the QN90D to me was fine. Why? Because I looked at it myself by itself. I spent 2 hours with it alone and I liked it. So to your point, Christian, you were looking at still just below flagship. The QN90C is their second tier below the QN95. It's a flagship, essentially, Christian. So it's not like you went and grabbed those little TVs in the front of Walmart. I mean, you still bought nearly a flagship. Now, if I take that Q190C, hold on. If I take that Q190C and I put it against a G4, it'll get beat up.
And
that's the reality of it. So,
Brian, that goes to our theme. What is this follow-up? I was second-guessing my decision this whole week because it wasn't an OLED, right? What is the title of today's stream?
Hold on.
But it's only mini LED.
Can we just get this out? If you've known me for the last 8 or 9 years doing this, I always love mini LEDs.
Wait,
right?
wait.
Then I
Brian,
went to
you're always obsessing over infinite contrast, micro
always
contrast.
micro contrast. These are buzzwords, but the fact is, there's two OLEDs over my shoulder. I started talking about the Bravia 9, and all of a sudden I'm a Sony employee. Like, you think I have one of the badges? Like, I'm walking around
Oh, wait,
swiping
wait.
my stuff
Actually,
in and out of the building.
let me stop you right there, Brian. So we have half the viewers and half the fans, I guess, calling you suddenly Brian cannot, and FOMO, right? I'm going to let myself it. You guys cannot stop pushing the Bravia 9 agenda. And then with Christian, you guys are always talking about OLED, right? It's that micro contrast. I'm like, it sounds
Let
like
me
we must like all TVs, which is true, by the way. I do like
Well,
all
hold on. Well,
TVs.
let me explain to you guys why it seems that way. So if you go back to FOMO's videos and my videos, we go on our YouTube channels, you'll see videos, and they're going to be in order. When they go in order, you're going to see what TVs have come out in order. A month ago, it was the G4, a bunch of G4 videos, C4 videos. Well, right now you see the Bravia 9 video simply because that TV just dropped. So as a creator, no point in me doing G4 videos right now. We've already covered it. Do you follow me, guys? That's why would I do a movie review on a movie that came out a month ago? So you see that, and we get this every year. This is why Sony's release schedule is genius. They let the two TVs battle it out, and then they release their TVs. And that's why you guys feel like we're pushing the Bravia 9. The Bravia 9 is awesome. It is, but it's the newest TV. If something, so tomorrow if the G4 came out, FOMO, that's what we would be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got to be a little more confident in your decisions, by the way. I guess that influencer thing really works.
Well, okay, and I think people need to understand. I use the Bravia 9 as a proxy for Mini LED because, everyone's all hyped about it, because Sony did a good job with marketing and so forth. But ultimately, I mean, like, look at this image right
Marketing
here, right?
what? You didn't see any commercials, FOMO.
Yeah,
What
no, I mean,
marketing?
like, we're talking marketing through their event at Culver City, bringing all the influencers in so that
Yeah.
influencers can cover it.
So,
But
yeah.
ultimately, it's still Mini LED. I get it, and that's the title. But it's still Mini LED. But then look at this. Both the reference monitor is LCD technology, the QM8 is LCD, and the two on the left are OLED. And you'd walk away with any of these TVs and say, you know what, I got myself a flagship, regardless of price, right? And so it takes me to Seek's comment. Funny, as I was second guessing my G4 decision and ended up sending it back.
Oh my God.
And remember Brian Wieland? He kept
FOMO.
sending
Thank
back
God
his
you
LGs.
guys aren't getting married. You guys are like, I love her. 10 years I've been with her. Let me see her. I don't know.
Sending it back.
Cancel the wedding. Sorry, sweetheart. These two guys on YouTube said it's not going to work. No, I hear
I
you.
love it.
Trust me. That's why we call it tech therapy. There is more to it. Fear of missing out we talk about this all the time, FOMO. Fear of missing out is a real thing, but fear of missing out has excitement to it. Buyer's remorse, there is no excitement to buyer's remorse. It is devastating. So people say to us, hey, I thought you were, FOMO used to get this all the time. I thought you were a Hisense guy. And you're like, dude, I'm not a Hisense channel, a Sony channel. Next year, we're going to like TVs more because there's new ones. So I'm not married to them. Sorry, we're swinging out here.
Well,
Swinging up in these people.
here's a great comment
Christian
from
spent like
Christian.
$100 today.
Well, it's a bone. It's an expensive bone. Thank you, Christian. And I
Christian
agree
is
with
actually
Christian.
making our argument for us.
I completely agree with Christian today, right? 4 years ago, I wouldn't have, but today I agree with him. Blooming with LCD TVs, LCD, Mini LED, anything with full relocal dimming. We're talking about flagship now, not the mid-tier or low-tier TVs. Blooming with LCDs is so overblown. When I'm watching a movie on the QN90C, I might add, and things are in motion, I just don't have time to see the blooming in that one corner. Why do we have blooming tests? Clean black bars. And so, Christian, for me, if the black bars are even, but slightly lifted, I'm actually okay with that. The distraction is when the blooming
I hate
bleeds
it.
into the... slightly lifted, not like, oh my
I
God,
hate
it's
it.
gray, right? Like right now, the 900D and the QM8 black bars, completely acceptable. The U8N is on the edge of acceptability for me. I would choose the QM8 over it because it consistently has better black bars. And the 90C, I don't remember complaining about its black bars. It's not perfect, but it's very even. And Samsung has been working hard on it. Now, Christian, you already bought the TV. It's a great TV. Let's just move on because at the end of the day, it's 85 inches, right? We're not going to hammer you. Oh my God, because you know your friends here will say, well, Christian, here are the things that I don't like about the Q90C. And then suddenly you be that poor guy Sikh who sends back the G4 of all TVs to send back, right?
That's the best TV in the world. You're like, she was a 12. So real quick, Christian, I think you've illustrated in your argument exactly the point. The majority of these TVs, anything modern is excellent. They are all very, very good. We are enthusiasts. Christian's also an enthusiast. Now, blooming in 2016 on especially the KS8000, the whole screen would light up. They were literally columns of light. However, if you are coming from a plasma, you are coming from an OLED, it will be noticeable. It can catch you. It's like anything else. Screen uniformity issues on WOLEDs, I'm very sensitive to that. So that would steer me towards a QD OLED, which has better screen uniformity. For me, blooming, it isn't about blooming. It's about a flat image more than anything. These TVs now, the algorithm of the local dimming makes the bars black anyway. So that's not even a good test anymore. The LG QNEDs are all black bars. So the TVs know to keep that part of the image dim. So that's not really a good test anymore. They're all inky black.
Well, speaking
That's
of test,
actually the
Brian,
TV's process.
I think KG's comment right here
So KG, pimp?
is so relevant to what you're doing right now. Bro, someone told me to take back my 65-inch Bravia 9 and get the 85 Bravia 9, or my review is irrelevant. So, Brian, how much better is the 85 than the 65? Because you have the 85, you're looking at it, you're spending a lot of time with it, you've seen the 65, and it felt to me that the 65 didn't impress you compared to the G4 as much as the Bravia 9, which you're saying, you know what, for movie watching, content watching, I'm done, I'm getting the Bravia 9. So what happened?
Well, it's not just that.
Does KG need to get 85-inch?
Well, here's the thing. I'll say this to KG. KG's my boy. But KG, comparing the OLEDs to the Bravia 9, even though you like the Bravia 9, the fact that you put it against an OLED brought so much negativity to me as a Sony shill immediately because I like the TV. So that just shows what the expectations are for our audience. Our audience are like, dude, KG said it beats this, it beats that. Now I was like, oh, this TV is a piece of garbage. Now, KG's reviewing the 65-inch. Those TVs are available. People want to buy that model. If you remember last year, people wanted to know how good the 65-inch was. There wasn't one in the US. Now, unfortunately, there aren't any in the UK. They switched them. So this is where I'll say KG's review is valid, is everything that he likes about it is only going to get better with the size. And anything that it has as far as some of its limitations will be slightly better. So KG's work and everything he's putting in is very valid, but it just shows how even though we do similar content, we end up hitting the ball back and forth, KG. It doesn't end. So the minute your video came out, they're like, Brian, the G4 killed it. Stop working for Sony, right? So his work is very valuable and very valid. So please don't tell him he needs to buy an 85-inch. And by the way, buy it for him. How about that? How about you guys send him $5K and you buy it for him? Because you have no idea the amount of work it goes in for that guy to compare those TVs and sit with you for 5-6 hours. And it's ridiculous. So here I'll say this to you before I get all fired up. We love them all. But the fact is, the Bravia 9 is an excellent TV. So is the X95L. But what we have happening now is this battle between these two technologies, Nintendo, Sega, all over again, just worse. And the fact that if I like an OLED, I work for LG. If I like a Sony, like people are telling me I'm flying to LA. This is why I like this TV. Guys, these companies don't say anything to me about what I should say. And by the way, they're not sending me them. Samsung's sending me TVs. So not Sony, not LG. So LG G4 was my favorite TV of the year. For TV watching, did I lose you? I lost you. FOMO, I can't hear you. Is my audio gone? Guys, is it me or FOMO? Because I can't. Hold on, let me check it. Yep. Yep. FOMO.
It's me. I gotta switch to my
Yo, is it me or you?
headphones real quick. It's me.
Okay, so anyway, real quick, what I want to say to you guys is that the war so
Okay.
so crazy to where you can't even have an opinion about one or the other. So I'm currently reviewing a QD OLED behind me. The S90D is behind me. Mini LEDs, I love them. They have their limitations. The Bravia 9 is a beast. It's still not going to be able to beat an OLED where it lives. Right? That creators are getting so much hate. I have people telling me that my video that FOMO and I did was an apology video. How ridiculous is that? I didn't build a damn thing. Like, you think I'm in the lab building this thing? So, I mean, it's
Can you
funny.
hear me now?
That's why we're on here
I
tonight.
swapped to my AirPods. Can you hear me?
Yeah, bro, all that technology you have over there, bro.
Yeah, I have to switch. I think my DJI ran out of batteries for whatever reason, so I forgot to charge it.
How's everybody doing? Let's catch up on the chat a little bit.
Yeah, I had this.
How are you guys?
Question I wanted to hit.
I got a special.
Ramon says the 900D is a really bad value when compared to the B9. So let's put image quality aside.
I mean, it's an
The
8K.
B9's audio is a whole other level. The 900D audio is typical thin TV Samsung style. When it's that
Your audio's
the audio is just not going to be loud. There's going to be no bass. And the B9 is just, you're going to enjoy it. So yeah, if you take everything into consideration, the B9 is great. And the 900D, the question is, 95D is very similar, right? Or the S95D, right? The S95D, also one Connect box.
Bro, are you talking? What are you using for a mic right now?
I'm using my AirPod Pro. Does it sound bad?
You looked dubbed right now, like your kung fu movie, like you're dubbed.
You're
like,
all right. Why don't you continue?
It sounds like you're underwater.
All right.
I keep talking.
All right. All
right, hold on real quick. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. KG, my boy, is in there. KG, I know if you're still in there, say what's up. I understand the hate. We're getting it every day. What's up, James? What's up, Tom? What's up, Getty G, man? How are you? Broken Wrench. Special shout out to a very old and dear friend of mine, Brittany, who is in the chat. Brittany, love you. I'm glad you're watching. You are the only female in the house tonight, I believe. So love you. Good to see you here. Michael, what's happening? Let's see who else we got. Let me go back up. Why am I sticking and moving? My phone has this little box for me. What's up, CJ? What's up, Stan? Elrod, Michael Cohen, Mark Douglas. What's up, everyone? So where are you guys? We got 263 in the chat. Please hit like. Thank you for joining us. We have not been on in a minute. Let's see. Gene, I agree with you, Brian. People are just taking this too far. I mean, honestly, Gene, we don't care. I mean, I've been on YouTube for about 7 or 8 years, and the hate that we get now is nothing compared to before. So it's fine. It's just funny when you have like KG puts in his work, we put in our work. Reviews and stuff are like a collective. You get to see. Damn, bro. What is going on, bro? What's funny is this dude is the one that has all the technology. Do you guys actually hear me still or not?
Yo. Okay,
Dude,
I think this one's working. It's like,
nah, you're beeping. You have some like crazy feedback.
wait, I have crazy feedback now?
Yeah, you had some foam. KG's calling it ground loop. John Hooper, what's up, baby? Vienna in the house. All right, guys, hear me? Okay, mic check. Is it raining where you are? Good morning. Nice to meet you. What's up, Chris? How are you? Broken Wrench, what's happening? I know Broken Wrench.
Okay. Is that better?
What's up, Nigel?
Is that a little bit better?
You got Radio Shack over there?
I do. It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I might have a few more good minutes before this one dies.
Damn, bro. You do any
I have to bring
homework?
out the handheld. I'm literally going to have to bring out my handheld real quick. But
Go ahead, bro. I got
I
to grab
apologize,
babysitting.
everybody.
We're all hanging out.
okay. Yeah, why don't you hang out? I'm going to charge this real quick. Because that ground loop is terrible. I'm going to put on my AirPods and turn up the volume. Because this is not good.
All right, bro. I got you.
Check, check, check. Is that better?
Yeah.
How's that sounding? Is that better,
Sounds
Brian?
amazing. Yep, sexy. We got commercials on my back. Deodorant commercial. What is going on your screen, bro? What are you showing?
Oh, jeez. Look at that. What is this? Centaphone. Okay. Is my audio still too low?
Yeah, you sound like you're in a pool. You sound mono.
Is that working? No. Is that working better? How's that?
Nope.
I'm trying to connect to everything
Terrible.
that's connected to my computer. How's that? I don't know why.
What is, bro? Thank God you don't do microphone reviews. This thing sounds amazing.
I even have a Microsoft Teams thing happening. I don't know.
Oh,
Okay.
dude, you're going backwards.
Okay, so how's my audio now?
I don't know, bro.
All right, Brian, why don't you take over? I'm going to pull out my XLR mic. This is ridiculous.
Oh, he's pulling out the big guns. Okay. All right. Now I got some white noise going on. Anyway. So, hello, everybody. I'm Brian from Brian's Tech Therapy, formerly Whisper Status. Somebody asked me about the S90D. Lost that. Yes, Brittany, I believe you are the only female in the chat tonight. Do we have any other ladies joining us out of 280? Normally we have one or two. Brittany would be one. And that might be it. Any ladies jump in and say hello? Let's see, Brad. Closed caption. All right, here we go. So the S90, is the G3 OLED still relevant? Absolutely, it is. It's an excellent TV. The 83-inch does lack MLA. Then again, that's still a good TV. You're lacking the Alpha 11 processor. The G4 has a better processor, but for a good value and excellent picture quality, the G3 is still fantastic. Brian, check out the super chat for FOMO. I can't see it, bro. I don't have that kind of. He'll come back and check it out. Buddy, what's up? How are you guys doing? We have not. I thought he just took his shirt off. I look up and all I saw was skin. I thought you were doing a costume change, Liberace upstairs. Ken, the S90D is nice. I mean, it's 77 inches. It's very bright. The processing is definitely behind the 880L. I can tell you that just by watching The Thing, which is 4K. So it's very good. But Mike Salad is here as well. Too. Mike Salad is hi, Mike Salad.
Check, check, check.
Michaela.
All right, how's that? Yo, can you hear me?
It sounds like you're outside, but all right. What are you outside?
It sounds like I'm outside. Let me close the door.
All right, so we have two ladies in the chat. We have Brittany Darden and we have Michaela, I believe. Anybody else? You didn't acknowledge Michaela. Michaela, savage. You call me a savage. I'm sorry, I can't see it. Oh, am I the screen right here? What am I doing? Michaela,
Okay.
how are you?
All right.
Is Michaela in? Hold on, FOMO. We're recognizing the ladies in the chat. We have Brittany
All right,
Darden.
all right. Let me put them up. Michaela. Yeah, I was talking to Michaela earlier. She's thinking of getting a 98-inch QM8, and I told her go for it.
Really, that's the only attention you
All right,
gave
let's
her
get
was
some of that
answer.
super chats. Oh, Sean had to go to bed. Hey, thank you, Sean. Q900D for sports or Sony Bravia 9 for sports with AI and the processor, which Samsung has been promoting. Is it really good in sports? Yes, it's good in sports. Whether it's better than the Bravia 9, we're going to test that. Has the Samsung processor really improved or it's a gimmick? Motion, it's improved, but it's very difficult to notice unless you have low bit rate. If it's all high bit rate, high quality sports, the 900D may not necessarily be necessary, right? So let's see here. Next up, hey
Wait,
Getty.
hold on, hold on. So you gave Sean a book and you told Michaela to go for it? That's how you treat the
Yes,
ladies?
that's.
All you
It
said to
was very
Michaela
simple. She
was,
was straight to the point. It was straight to the point. Any news on the U9N will be released. No news. I'm working on it. Sometime late summer, I believe. I just want to get caught up so people don't feel ignored. Can a QD OLED sustain brightness in a bright room while watching sports for 4 to 5 hours? So the answer is not compared to WOLED LG G4. That will maintain that brightness longer, and the QD OLED doesn't dim. It's just the ABL. It's not going to be as bright during the course of watching, just slightly less bright. But it's not a huge difference, but it's there. And almost caught up. You guys provided an amazing service. Thank you so much for your hard work. Brian, thank you so much for your hard work, my friend. And thank you, Mark, for the super chat. And Sean is now going to bed. Good night, Sean. Need AI for audio next time. Believe me, I'm working hard to get AI working for many things. Thank you. Thank you
Sean
for
just
that,
gave us a
Sean.
lullaby. He gave us a good
All
night,
right.
good night
Okay.
story.
I think we're caught up. What did you say? I sound like I'm outside?
No, for a minute, it's like you were doing a road show. You're outside.
Oh,
Basically just-
yeah, I have my shotgun mic now directly on my Sony camera, so now it's easy. I don't have to worry about the wireless stuff.
Brian, are you giving away any older TVs you have at home? I actually do donate them. We all do. So I do give them to families in need or friends in need. So they do go away. I don't just
Wait.
Why, you want one?
Let's address CG Macklemore's comment. I try to avoid these chats because I tend to devolve in both character and integrity. We're going to try
Wow.
to keep it healthy. The chats, our chats, I take great pride about
pretty
character and
good.
integrity in our chat. So hang
Yeah,
on.
we're pretty
Hang
good.
on. When
hang in
is
there. We're
Prime
not bad.
Day? When is Prime Day? Prime Day is coming up this year, July, as always, I believe. End of June, early July. Is there honking in the background? Is it my side or your side?
That's my
Brian?
street. That's me. That's me. I'm in the city.
Gotcha. Okay, I think we're caught up. I apologize, guys. If we missed your question, please ask again. This is a great question, Brian. Halfway through the year, right? It is mid-year. We're in June. What are your highlights? I'll start because I haven't seen as many TVs as Brian, actually. I am still missing a personal assessment of the Bravia 9. I've seen the Bravia 9, but it's not in my element, so it's not a complete feel for the Bravia 9 yet. I need to see the U9N, but where I am right now, the QM8 is really close to being my TV of the year. Not because it's the best performer per se. I think the G4 is in the lead. Bravia 9 has a chance to take that spot. But the QM8, for what it does at MSRP of $1,400, and we know it's going to be like $1,100, $1,200 by Black Friday, I'm just so impressed across the board. And during my comparisons where it felt like the QM8 851G was, the color was maybe desaturated, it was because it had dynamic tone mapping on to maximize the brightness, right? With it off, it's still super bright. However, all the color is there, and it's spot on, as accurate as the G4 and as accurate as the S95D, except the S95D feels a little arguably oversaturated because when it's compared to the reference monitor, there's a little bit more color that I didn't see in the reference monitor in just regular content. We're not talking about like special content that only QD OLED can display. So it's just something I'm going to look at in the S95D, but it's still phenomenal. So right now, halfway through, the QM8 is this close to being my editor's choice. I still need to see the U9N. I still need to see the Bravia 9, but that's where I am right now. Brian, where are you?
So for me, it's definitely it's tough because I was pretty wrong about the S95D. I actually like that TV quite a bit. As we know, I really much dislike the matte screen. The G4 was my clear favorite as far as still kind of the best TV all around in terms of HDR impact, processing, and gaming. The brightest OLED I've seen, because I'm in the heavyweight division, so I'm a little biased with that. The 900D was very good, but dropped down as soon as the Bravia 9 came out. Very impressed with the Hisense U8N. Excellent blacks, very saturated image. The Bravia 8 is very nice. The C4 is very nice. I mean, even the QNED was very nice that I saw. So we've seen a lot of TVs, but the highlights right now are the Bravia 9 at 85 inches and the LG G4 at 85 inches.
And Michael has this great question because
Ooh,
it'll destroy.
900E, baby, it's legendary.
It'll destroy everything that you expect of a TV. I'm coming from a Sony 900E, so we're talking about an older TV. I want a TCL QM8 2024 98-inch on Black Friday. I game and I watch HDR streaming. How much of an upgrade will it be? So just go into 98-inch. Like, forget that it's a QM8. If you just took the TCL Q6 98-inch or the Hisense U76N at 98, it would be amazing. The immersion is just, the image quality will be no worse than your 900E. Now you take all those dimming zones and then you put it at 98-inch on a QM8 with just HDR pop, and I think you'll be blown away, Michael. You're never going to go back in either size or that HDR impact. You're going to be used to it and you're going to be addicted. I'm so excited for you. Brian, he's going from, I don't know what size his 900E is, but what do you think about that? Upgrading to a 98-inch.
So, Michael, I'll tell you, the 900E is one of the legendary TVs since, I think, 2017. I had that TV, love that TV. Like the 930E, the Z9D, they are classic TVs. And though many of you will say the Z9D is still this amazing TV, the processing is so far ahead from every manufacturer than what Sony was doing back then, or any manufacturer. You'll be very impressed. The QM8, he's got a QM8, correct? FOMO?
He's looking at the QM8 for 2024 98-inch. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you'll absolutely love it. I mean, forget about it. But, I think the thing is, Christian, or I think his name was Chris, is that the size alone would be amazing. The TV is superior. I mean, it really is amazing. It's bright, it's saturated. The local dimming is much better. Even though the 900E was very good, it was still the mid-range that year. The HDR impact's going to be off the charts. You're going to be extremely happy. Don't look back. But again, living in the past, the 900E was very good, but those TVs can't compete anymore. They're not even close.
Yep. And, Robert is here. Robert, confirming the TV is still in the box, and as soon as I have it all set up, we're going to live stream with Robert to introduce the Bravia 9 and the Quad, and my impression on how well everything integrates. I'm really excited about the Quad. HTA 9 impressed me, but the Quad is the next generation of this wireless system. They address the dropouts, and it's perfectly matched to the TV as a center screen. I'm pretty excited. Thank you so much, Robert, for packing it so well once again. And if you guys are looking at hard-to-get sizes and models, give Value Electronics a call because he has them and he will put you on an allocation. Speaking of Value Electronics, what is the most impressive TV you saw this week at Value Electronics, Brian?
Bravia 9.
Bravia 9? The 85-inch.
Which is crazy because, the 85-inch, because at Value Electronics right now, there is a G2 at 98. There's a Z series there. There is a 95L, which I want to talk about the A95L a little bit when we get a chance.
Okay.
All these amazing TVs. But the Bravia 9 is just this 85 inches, just majestic sitting there. And I mentioned this in my video, is that the 900D and 800D FOMO, they're so beautiful in terms of their bezel-less design that the people that were at the studio that saw the 800D versus the A80L thought the A80L was bigger because of the bezel. So that's where I think the 85-inch size hurts Samsung. Sony has a larger bezel. It has a more built presence, and it just looks better than anything else that's in the store right now, which I thought it was amazing. Very happy with it.
Here's a question that I think is perfect for you because you've
Hi, Chris.
had the plasma. Hi, Brian. I'm coming from a Pioneer Elite Kuro. and now want to buy a new
Hero
TV.
Elite, baby.
I watch action movies and sports. Which one would you buy? The G4 or the Bravia 9? No gaming, no mention of gaming.
So here's the problem, Chris, is that you're coming from an OLED. Oh, you're coming from a plasma, a legendary plasma. So the G4's brightness is going to blow you away anyway. I think the Bravia 9 might actually be too bright. I hate to tell you, because the Bravia,
Maybe
the
you should
Bravia
look
9
at
is so
the
bright.
C4.
The
That's not
Bravia
D,
9 was so
anybody?
bright. So Robert will. So Robert talk. Chris, that's a great question. Hold on for a second. So Robert has the Bravia 9, 65 inches. He had that 2 weeks early. He's got the 85 inch 2 weeks early, right? So I walk into the store. I'm tripping over Bravia 9 boxes everywhere. And he's like, hey, look, we have a Bravia 9 set up in the front, 85. And then he had a Bravia 9 set up in the back at 85. Right? So FOMO, I go into the back, and it was so bright that I grabbed the remote. I was like, look, I better turn this into professional, kind of tone it down. It was in professional. It was in professional with the ambient light sensor on, and it was still blinding. But it didn't have any, it was never washed out. But I would still say for your case, coming from a plasma, I think you'd appreciate the image of a OLED more.
Yeah.
Just because LEDs, it's a stark difference. The signature is very different. So I would say for his case, coming from a Hero Elite, the G4 would be more than good enough. But for me, I'm telling you right now, if I was to choose between the G4 and the Bravia 9 for movie watching, I would easily get the Bravia 9.
Right. Now, here's something that I'm thinking this question or this comment says a lot about what we always talk about. He was skeptical of the S95 decoding to the point of writing it off the TV. But after seeing side by side, he's changed his mind. He's going to get it. And this goes to the point you need to see it in your home, because whether it's at Best Buy or wherever you're seeing it and it doesn't reflect how you watch it at home, it may be a completely different experience, honestly. So I love that Cypher made the decision to get the S95D, because for him, it's a great TV. And by the way, the S95D is a good TV.
Well, in Cypher, look, here's the thing about our comparisons, and whether it's ratings, me, KG, Classy, FOMO, any of us, what we show you and what we say together is so important, right? That's why I show you every preset I can. That's why FOMO is doing live streams. KG's doing live streams, right? They're long. They show you all kinds of context. But people were so, and I was guilty of this, the matte screen, I didn't dislike it because I don't like matte screens. I didn't dislike it from what I saw at CES when I had that behind the scenes with FOMO. We saw that first look FOMO.
Right.
Right? So, but when I put the S95D against the A95L at 77 inches, you're looking at a Generation 3 QD OLED against a Generation 2. Now, in professional and in filmmaker, movie and cinema, they all look the same, even with the coating on it. When I took it out of those presets, it smoked it. It smoked the A95L. Coating or not, I spent hours with it. So what I'm saying to you is that you can judge it, go by the reviews, see it with your own eyes, take all that together and make your choice. But when somebody says this is total garbage, I immediately stop listening to that person, because I know that none of them are garbage. Not at this level. Not at this level. It's impossible. They are all very, very good. The minute you tell me it's trash, I'm not listening. So you can say I don't like matte screens, but I'll tell you guys, seeing the matte screen in a room with a lamp behind you, and ambient light, there's no reflections at all. So I would say give the S95D a chance. It's pretty amazing. Did I lose FOMO? What's up, Poppy?
Nope. I'm still charging my DJI. Apparently the DJI is it didn't charge in the box. I hope I don't have to get another one, because I really like it a lot.
We have some super chats, bro.
All right. Here. Yeah, let me work backwards. I apologize for I missed it. All right.
Got that. Yep.
$5 from Mikey. Thank you for the super chat. Is the Hisense U8N on par or better than the 2023 QM8 when it comes to contrast, HDR impact, and vibrancy? The U8N has better shadow detail. It's brighter, and I think it's a better TV overall. The contrast, though, on the QM8 2023 is a touch better. So it really depends on your priority. The QM8 also has better black bars, and I know we're talking about black bars again, but again, if that's something that bothers you, I find the U8N to definitely be, the U9N is what I'm looking forward to seeing, because they put everything into that TV as their flagship this year. The QM8 from last year, TCL put everything into that TV, but it's still a bit more contrasty. I don't like the crushed blacks. Even after the firmware update that addressed it, it still crushes more than this year's 2024, and definitely crushes more than the U8N. So it really depends on your priority. I like the U8N. I think it's good. Now, there are a few things that hopefully will be fixed in a firmware update on the U8N. When I switch sources, it glitches, right, in the same port. So that's one issue. And motion is good when it works, but then sometimes you see a slight glitch in the motion. It doesn't happen all the time, but because I do a lot of rewind and play, and it happens to the U8N every now and then. So to me, it feels like there's still a little bit of smoothness as far as the overall software execution that needs to happen in the U8N. The QM8 is a mature product. So it works, it's on sale. I would rather get the 2023 QM8 just for the fact that it's now a mature product. Everything works given its slight weaknesses. So that's just something to keep in mind. Hopefully that's helpful. And thank you, Michael, for that super chat. I think we were answering his questions earlier about getting the TV. I think he said he's going from the 900E, 75-inch,
900.
right?
You'll be very, very happy. Yeah, Michael, you'll be happy. I hope you enjoyed the 900E. That was a great TV for a very long time. I donated that one, so I had the 75-inch. I think the 900E actually had a really small one too, FOMO, maybe 40-something.
Yeah. Okay, let me see here.
Jen's content's amazing, isn't it?
And Robert asks, hey, did you receive your Bravia 9 TV and Sony HT-A9M2, aka the Quad Dolby? Yes, I did, Robert. It all came in safe
I did not
today.
receive mine, Robert. Did you send it to me? I did not receive mine.
He's going to have to come to California to check mine out.
I mean, considering I was like laying on top of the 5 boxes of Bravia 9s. Actually, Robert's got the 65-inch Bravia 8 there today.
Right.
Guys, stop with the block comments with KG in the comments, please. Let's keep the comments
Yes. Yes, play nice, people.
Play nice.
I mean, and at the end of the day, let's talk about, these are TVs. People are making it sound like you're on the soccer field. If you guys have seen parents on the soccer field, that's toxic, right? I mean, yelling at coaches, getting to fist fights. My kid isn't starting. I get it. It's your baby son, baby daughter. But come on, these are TVs that break every few years. You got to replace it. People take it so tribal with these TVs. There's no perfect TV. You get one that fits your budget and your use case, and it's great. But the worst is when you're so happy to have this TV, and then suddenly someone shows up in the comments and say, oh, that's trash. You should have gotten this one instead. It hurts my feelings.
Well, it's just ridiculous. Well, it's ridiculous, too. I mean, KG, you have the power, right, bro?
Yeah, he's got the
paying
power.
attention, so I apologize.
Yeah.
KG, you got the power, KG? Handle business, KG. Handle business, kid.
And now, just for all of you who are watching in regards to the Sony 3110. So the 3110 serves only one purpose, so it doesn't get overinflated. What it does, it's whether the TV is doing what the creator intended or not. Not necessarily measuring its performance per se, because even the 3110 has its limitations. I've hit the limits of the 3110. For example, At a 50% window, the 3110 cannot do above 1500 nits. So if Jennifer Gala or another creator creates content that's 2000 nits on a 50% window, it's going to clip to heck on my 3110 because that's what's designed to do. There's no tone mapping, right? But on the Samsung, LG, TCL, they'll tone map it and you'll see all the details. So for me, it's to see at what brightness are all the details preserved. Can the other TVs match it with that level of brightness and detail? But above that, well, this is where we say the TVs are still not bright enough. Even my reference monitor is still not bright enough. I'm waiting for the 10,000 nit monitor now, which hopefully will be here in 5 years, 6 years. So the 3110 definitely serves a purpose, but it's a very limited one among the best of the best that we compare. Brian, are you planning to sign your autograph on the Bravia 9 boxes at Volley Electronics?
Robert
Seek is wondering. He'll pay Robert extra if you do that.
Oh, really? Seek, what's up? I mean, I think we talked about doing that. If you get a calibrated one, we'll sign them. So Robert and I actually sat down and watched the Bravia 9 the other day. I think Robert's not in the chat anymore, but it's really cool because I'm there filming. He's very busy, but we sat down and we've watched movies before, so sitting there watching it is incredible.
Okay, this is a great comment from Cypher. I want to hit real quick. The Sony Bravia 9, 8, 7, whatnot has DTS:X and Atmos ? So Atmos, I think all the TVs have that. But keep this in mind, Ephraim and everyone else. If you're using your TV as a source for audio, right? So you're streaming through your TV decodes DTS or Atmos or whatnot. Then you take that and you send it through eARC to your audio system, soundbar, or whatever. Just keep in mind that the streaming version of movies is always going to be worse, not worse in lossy, lossless. That is actually not audible, but worse in the mixes, the surround mixes may not be as full as the disc version, and they're beginning to add more compression. That's unique to streaming because people stream to their headphones, to their iPads, to their MacBook, notebook, and so they're going to compress it.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
And the bass, the subwoofer, more likely than not will be cut off for the exact same reason. So the audio on streaming versions of the exact same content will be audibly worse. Not, again, we're not comparing lossy to lossless. Literally, it's a different way of mixing so that it's optimized for streaming devices. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people stream to their TV. So if you have an amazing system, you got to make sure that that system gets the audio from a higher quality source, whether it's a disc, whether it's Kaleidoscape, whether it's something that is not quote unquote a streaming platform. And this is going to become worse and worse in the near future. So you guys who invest in really nice audio systems, you got to get it from the source, which right now the best and most consistent is the disc, right? But on streaming, if you're listening to headphones, it'll sound great because it's being designed for that more specifically than not. Or AirPods. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Real quick, FOMO. Jamie has a great comment. He says, "Hi guys. After having sampled some of the flagships, I am left with one conclusion: they are all so close in quality. Truly get the one with the best value because they're so close." It's a great comment. But also, Jamie, there are some subtle signatures to each one, and the way they handle those separate presets. And we talk about the remotes, FOMO, Tizen,
Yes.
WebOS. These things are tangible. But to your point, and it's an excellent comment, we are really getting in the weeds with these. We really are pointing out every one of them is good. That's why the criticism of, this guy likes everything. Really, honestly, what do you want me to say? This thing is garbage? Like, really, be careful when you hear people say things are garbage or trash. That's just the bias.
Should I stop talking about Vizio?
See, now Vizio's earned that. You can't break during the review. And look, I pulled for Vizio for years. But when you're
But
saying
let
that
me,
this is garbage
yeah.
and that is garbage
Let me,
and that is garbage,
yeah.
you can say something is maybe not as good as it was last year, or this is not like I'll tell you right now, the S90D TV is awesome. The processing is not on par with the A80L. Does that mean it's crappy processing or it's trash processing? No. We talked about that. If I'm tall and you have come in the room and you're taller than me, I don't cease to be tall. I'm just not as tall as this new guy. Like Fomo's taller than me, right? So, I'm not all of a sudden not tall anymore.
Okay, I had to do this real quick because I saw something. Okay, wait. This is like too good not to give up. Okay, so does Ron Clark, is his avatar the same as Jennifer Gala's image right now? Is it the same? It looks like, wait a minute. It's the same avatar image. 4K nit is still not enough. I'm waiting for the 10K nit in 6 years. So
Well, Hisense is doing. Who's doing 10K? Is it Hisense or TCL's doing 10K?
nobody. I'll tell you why. And this is why I don't think it's happening in 10 years. Okay, so 10,000 nits is actually achievable. The problem is the amount of energy consumption. So as an example, right now I have my tiny 30-inch reference monitor. It's putting out 4,000 nits, peak specular highlights only. And even then, right, full field is only 1,000 nits. And in between 1,000 and 4,000, you got 2,000, 3,000, whatever. It's putting out so much heat. There are 2 fans inside. I can feel the heat coming to me. The other TVs are just warm. Okay. If you're going to go 10,000 nits at a 65-inch size, you're going to have a huge space heater in your home. So that's just the heat part. On the thermal efficiency, if they don't increase the efficiency, they will not pass any of the energy requirements or limitations in any country. So the 10K nit is not so much a technical barrier just to get to 10,000 nits. I mean, that is one. But now it's going to be a technical and efficiency barrier. Can they put out 10,000 nits without releasing too much heat? That is a different problem. And I don't know. Because 2 things happen with all that heat. If it's quantum dot, if that's the technology you use, it's going to degrade the quantum dots. If it's micro LED, it will literally melt the transistors that connect the micro LEDs. So I spoke to engineers like, you really want to go above 2,000 nits because the heat that it puts out, if you keep on going from 2,000 nits and you keep on going up and up, it will melt the plastic parts, any connector, because the copper, I mean, everything heats up so, I mean, it's crazy.
Bro,
People
your
don't understand
TV
how
will look
hot
like
it gets.
candle. It'll
It's
start to
whoa,
tilt.
right?
My TV
So-
used to be square.
This is why I don't think 10,000 nits is happening until they solve these thermal issues. But yeah, it's an interesting comment for sure.
Yeah, but even watching the Bravia 9, I'm telling you, in professional, it is bright enough, right? Does it reach 4,000 nits? I don't know, but the fact is, it's useful brightness, right? We talked about, I think for many years, and I said this on my last video, LEDs for the last 5 years were trying so hard to match the contrast ratio of OLEDs. They stopped being LEDs. So bravo for Hisense and TCL just brute forcing, especially TCL.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see that next year from Samsung. I think they're going to do the same thing. And Sony, like I said this in my video, the X95L to me was the best mini LED from Sony because it was very refined, FOMO. Right? It was
Yeah.
the local dimming was fantastic. The color was great. It was very natural. It struggled against the UX at 85
It
inches
did.
as far as vibrancy. The Bravia 9 is just another animal. So it's keeping the Z9K power, Z9G power, and having even better local dimming. So to me, it is the perfect storm. Now back to KG and the 65 inch, or even you're going to see 65 inch in a few days. People are still buying those TVs. So it is valid to have that review and that comparison. I just think it's hard for any LED on the planet to go against an OLED of the same size. It's just hard. I mean,
It is.
it was the same way, it's just maybe FOMO back in the day, C7, when OLEDs weren't bright. Now that they're very bright, it's just very hard. But, look,
It is.
It's legit.
It really comes down to size now. Like you said before, if you're going 85, 98, 100 inch, 110, 115, OLED is not an option because of expense. But at the 55, 65, 75, 85, I think OLED still is a bit expensive. But, ooh, let's look at this. So, you know what? These commercials keep on popping up. I have it on
You had a game commercial. You had some deodorant commercials going on. What are you doing, bro?
It's what happens when you don't pay attention, right? I'm going to turn up the exposure just to have fun on this shadow detail one.
How you guys doing tonight? Hanging out with us. I appreciate you guys being in. We have 283. Please hit like. Say what's up. We have not been on camera together in a few months, actually.
Yeah, it's been a while.
This is a very difficult demo, and it's not, if anything looks washed out on this video, it's actually the content, not the TV.
Yeah.
This whole one is, do you have her library up or no? Did I send you the?
It's just
girls?
YouTube choosing stuff for me. I already put it on. Mikey has a super chat for you, Brian. Thank you, Mikey. Brian loved your U8K versus U8N video. I watched it 3 times. Okay.
That was you that watched it 3 times? Awesome.
I've only
watched 3 views.
I've only watched movies 3 times. But Brian, your content is compelling. I love seeing them in their vibrant presets. Will you do, and this is a big request, Brian, many people have been asking me if you will do this, U8N versus QM8. Brian?
I will not, actually. I'm not going to end up picking up the QM8. So I'll see the QM8 at M-Wave, and I'll be able to ascertain if it's better. I already know the signature of both the QM8. I do like the QM8 for its brute force. To me, it's the spiritual successor to where Samsung was headed with the Q8FN, Q9FN. I do find the U8N to be more natural and more accurate. I do think it has more shadow detail. But it depends. If you want more impact, more saturation, maybe deeper blacks, QM8. But I think the U8N is a better overall. I felt that way last year with the U8K versus the QM8. Me and FOMO went at each other. But I won't just buy the TV. I just don't do that and then bring them back. So that's probably the one TV I won't see this year until I go to M-Wave. But Mikey, hang in there at M-Wave. FOMO and I will actually see it. So.
And Sean is still awake. Thank you, Sean, for hanging out with us. Shall I buy the 900D 85 inches, Q900D, if I get it now, or should I wait for the Bravia 9, which comes in October? Sports is my main criteria, because waiting for 5 more months, the difference in quality should be quite big for the wait. Okay, Sean, you don't have to wait 5 months. I will compare the 65-inch.
Sean, what are you doing awake? I thought we put you to bed.
Let's see. I have M-Wave this month. I'll compare it between June and July for you. Well, I'll do a sports comparison specifically between the 900D and the Bravia 9, just for you, my friend. And we'll see which one looks good. We'll do some of the stuff that I've been doing in terms of fast-moving balls. I will look for cricket, if I can find it, somewhere, whatever channel, Sean, and I'll try to put that up and see what we find to see how fast it tracks that cricket ball. Is it called a ball? But thank you for the super chat, my friend. And Kazra has a super chat. Thank you. FOMO, lifted blacks of 77-inch S95D during the day drives me crazy. Should I switch the 65-inch G4 for the same price?
S95D lifted blacks on them.
What about the 77-inch S90D? So here's a good question. So, he doesn't want the lifted blacks. Clearly, it's the anti-glare coating in a bright room. We saw that. I would say, why don't you look at the 77-inch S90D? Seriously. Because that doesn't have the coating. Before you switch to the 65-inch G4. Brian, what is your suggestion? He had a 55-inch OLED C1. And his viewing distance is 8.5 feet. What would you suggest?
Did you like the signature of the S? Do you like the Samsung signature? Let me ask you that, Koster. Just don't even super chat again. Just tell me, did you like its other than the raised blacks? Did you like its processing? Did you like Tizen Did you like everything else about it but the raised blacks? If the answer is yes, then I would go with another S90 and get a better value. Otherwise, I would move over to the G4 or the A95L, but then you'd be spending quite a bit more money, I believe.
Yeah. Personally, I like Tizen. It's one of my favorite OSs out there. I mean, image quality aside, because a lot of you just care about image quality. You're using, I don't know, Apple TV or whatever streamer, so you don't really care. But if those of you who like the native OS, I personally think the Samsung Tizen is the most intuitive, and it's pretty speedy this year, so I kind of like that. I'm not a huge fan of Google. It just, I mean, it's fine. It works. I can figure it out. Hey, Christian, thank you for the super chat. TCL has a 130-inch plus TV coming out. Yes, I think I need to do a show on that. Projectors are dead.
PJs are dead?
I think
PJs, I'm like, can't wear
pajamas are dead. We're going in the nude.
I mean, Christian, are you going to be at M-Wave this year? I think what's amazing about projectors, FOMO, is that when you're watching, what would you say the screen now is for projectors? 150, 200?
150-inch?
They kind of have to live there now. And when projectors are running full screen without any black bars, they look incredible. They're very filmic. It's just that contrast ratio of TVs is just very, very hard to beat. I mean, very, very hard to compete with. So I love projectors still, but I've seen some of the best in the world, and it's just the black level of OLEDs and mini LEDs now with real peak brightness is just very hard to manage. So
yeah, I think projectors really, you're gonna have to get a high-end projector rather than one of the lower-end projectors. You might as well just get a TV at this point. So, but then, you know, that's me. Some people just love the look of the projector.
So real quick, KG is talking about the star fields. I'll tell you this. So I had the 800D KG, and it's funny that one of Jen's Bravia 9 it's called Starfield actually.
Yeah.
It's funny, on the OLEDs, these red stars show up immediately. On the LEDs, they take a few minutes, and then in the wrong preset, they show up as white. They show up as red blobs initially. But that's one test, right? And then, so if you're a big astronomer fan, all you watch is stars.
Astronomer fan.
You know, astronomer. Then those are just not for you. Just if you want to watch the stars, either grab a telescope or grab an OLED. There's just no other way. But other content, they do succeed in. But those specular, and what's funny is KG and I were together at Samsung. KG, and you remember this. That's the one thing the S95D actually had a hard time with, was resolving those stars. It just the reflective coating gave it a small halo. So either grab a telescope or grab an OLED.
And KG, the QM8 will always be slightly crushed compared to OLED. The level of crushing depends on the content, but yeah, no mini. So if you don't crush at all, then you end up with the complaints people had of the Sony X95K, which was everything was lifted. I mean, it's that jump. You can't. If you do it perfectly, you're OLED, because it's impossible to do it perfectly. So you have to choose shadow detail, but then you lift everything, or you have to choose blacks that are deep and contrasty, then you have crushed shadow detail. And the QM8 is better this year for sure, but it's definitely not perfect. So yeah, you probably caught crushed stars, and that's why I wanted to run this content again. I slowed it down to 0.75 so that, you know, if you guys see it, you guys can kind of take a closer look or pause it in future content.
FOMO, do me a big favor. Let's go after.
Oh my gosh, Sean is still up. What is up with that? Was that Brian?
Go ahead, hit Sean real quick, and then I want you to go up to another comment.
All right. Sean, thank you for staying up with us. Brian and FOMO combo, don't let even the gods sleep. It's so much fun. Will you both do all 85-inch TVs available comparison soon? Value Electronics must be having all of them right. So yes, Sean, we're going to have 85-inch TVs at Value Electronics. We're still deciding which ones to choose, but I'm thinking the U9N, the 900, or the U9N, the Bravia 9, and the G4 83-inch. I think those three are like the top performers. 900D, I think, is already there, but It may or may not fit. Brian, what are you laughing at, my friend?
I told you picture Sean in India, like laying in bed, and like his computer's closed. He's like, "Wait a second, I got one more."
You know how you have the iPad in your face? It just drops in your face.
It's like when you're a kid and you're looking for the phone. You're like, "Ah!" I picture like his family's like, "Go to bed." So do me a favor. Oh, Christian, spend all
He made
this
the right
money
wait.
on super chats.
No. Yeah, he spent all the money on super chats. That was
Oh,
his
Christian,
airfare,
what's up, baby?
his gas
Yeah,
money.
personally,
Thank you,
the-
Christian.
Christian has the most pleasant Facebook profile. Like, I just trust the guy in that picture. Mine does not look trustworthy. Do me a favor, I'll go up and try to find. I can't timestamp it. You'll see Doug in the comments. You'll see
What
a
time?
bunch of
What's the
names.
timestamp?
It doesn't. I don't get the timestamp over here.
I don't either. Okay, Doug. Let me go up.
It should say
I'll
Doug,
find him.
Shauna, Michael, Belly, or Kelly, Beth, Aaron, Kayla. Just bring that up for me real quick.
What was the question about?
That's not a question. It's just a comment. It's from
Oh,
Cosmos.
comment. Oh, here it is. Is this one?
Yep. So we have.
Hello,
this is
Doug.
Doug. Doug, Oshana, Michael, Kelly, Beth, Aaron, Kayla, Eliza, Beth, Jacob, Dylan. This is the Cosmo family. So we lost a very dear member, two members of our community. Mr. and Mrs. Cosmo had passed away. I don't know how long it's been now. It's been maybe
2 weeks?
just over a month. 2 weeks,
3
3
weeks?
weeks. Lovely family, love them, and I've stayed in touch with them. Tragic loss. Cosmo and Mrs. Cosmo were a part of our community for a long time. Cosmo has watched my channel since I came out, and I just want to be able to say hello to his entire family. Again, Doug, Oshana, Michael, Kelly, Beth, Aaron, Kayla, Eliza, Beth, Jacob, and Dylan, the Cosmo family. Amazing people. I love them dearly. I'm glad that they're in the chat, and I miss your parents very much. Very dear friends. So I want to just recognize them and tell them that I love them, and I'll talk to you again on Instagram. But FOMO and I both give you our deepest condolences, and the rest of our community as well.
Well, very thankful to get to know them before they passed, too. That was just great.
Yeah, I talked
Blessing.
to both Cosmo and his wife. They're very lovely, and it is tragic. Lost a very dear friend without having a chance to really spend a lot of time with them. But I hope to spend time with his family. We're gonna see them at M Wave, and then just hopefully go see them. So, love the family, love
definitely.
you guys. So that's it. So anyway, thank you for putting that up there for me.
Oh, hey, looking forward to seeing you guys, the whole family at M-Wave. And hey, Jen is here.
Hi,
If you guys
Jen.
haven't checked it out, the HDR Super Channel, star on my last video. Hey, Jen. Mr. Mystery has a super chat. Thank you, my friend. And that super chat, how do we get 120-inch plus TVs in our homes? Modular? Nope. I don't think they thought this through. I don't know what the height is. I haven't measured it, but it's all proportional. So if you do the math, it's not going to fit smaller doors, obviously. I don't know. That's a good question. Diagonally, right? You kind of tilt it over a little bit. I think they're going to have to think this through before they ship it over here. That's for sure. And James' suggestion, if you want to avoid black crushing on an LCD, disable local dimming, get it as bright as you can go, and then engage the strobe of the backlight. That will get you as close as humanly possible to emissive. Thank you, James. And just going down real quick. If we missed your questions, apologies. And let me check.
James, hold on. If you want to avoid black crush on an LCD, disable local dimming. Yeah, it'll be lovely if you disable local dimming. You'll have blooming all over the screen. But if you really want to see those stars, they'll be there. They'll bloom like crazy, but you'll see them.
Yeah. Wait, what happened to Cosmo? He passed.
He passed away. Him and his wife.
Yeah.
Passed away they only passed away a few weeks from each other. So please be respectful, everybody. They're amazing people, and we're going to see them very soon. But the community, what I've been saying for years, and FOMO has, and even KG has said this, the community is not just what we say, community. It's legit love. We know so many of you. We care about so many of you, and we have personal relationships with a lot of you. So it's not just community by name. I really do feel it. So it's a devastating loss. So so I want to gloss over it. So
And here we go. So here's the
that's
size.
it.
Brad did the math.
I'm gonna grab another drink. Right back.
All right. Brad did the math. Thank you for doing the math, Brad. 120-inch TV, 16 by 9. Your height will be, let's say, 59 inches. Let's say 60 inches. This is rounded up. If your door has 60 inches of clearance, you should be able to carry it straight through. And if you tilt it, for sure it'll fit, right? So thank you, Brad, for the math. So let's say 60 inches. A little bit more than 60 inches of clearance, you should be good to go. Don't hold me to it. Who knows how large these TVs are with the bezel and everything, right? Okay, hey, thank you for that super chat, Suleiman. I just bought a Samsung S95C, 55-inch for $1,000. Oh my gosh, that is a very good deal. So the S95C, amazing TV, doesn't have the anti-glare matte of the S95D. It's an excellent TV, and at $1,000, you, my friend, have got the best $1,000 OLED TV at that price. Congratulations. It's a great TV. I really like it. And it's highly recommended. It easily, for me, I thought the shootout, after everything was calibrated, I thought that was more accurate than the A95L. But my vote didn't count, so what do I know? So yeah, good job. Excellent. And hey, thank you for the support, Root Beer. Greatly appreciate you guys. We appreciate you. Keep up the great work. G4, right now, you can't see the red on the far right of the screen. Is there a red? Let me take you out there. It could be my exposure. Hopefully, that's what you're talking about. The G4 is really good, by the way. And know that I'm overexposing, by the way. So I'm overexposing to show the shadow detail of the QM8. If I exposed it correctly, then you guys will see more of the color. So let's do that real quick. So that's the correct exposure, in case you're wondering. I overexposed so that you guys can see. Oh, is it already over? Jen. Here, let's run it at a correct exposure. If you do that, because the dynamic range of my camera is limited, so I have to choose either to expose for the bright or expose for the dark. If you put it in the middle, you don't see anything because it's so extreme. Oh, actually, this is a good one. Let me hyper-expose this one real quick. Yeah, interestingly, the red on the G4 is not as deep as the S95D or the QM8, but I'm wondering maybe, but it's very close to the reference still. I mean, it's not terrible, and it's not supposed to be that bright. Yeah, let me turn on the waveform.
Did you go? I know you made a sound.
Jennifer, are you kidding me? That star in the center of this scene is actually 4,000 nits. Wow, that's very impressive. Hey, Brian, you know that star in the center of this scene is 4,000 nits?
Gotta fix my makeup.
Yep. Actually, let me see. Legit bright, legit bright. Thank you, Sean, for your condolences. God bless and give strength to the Cosmo family in such tough times. Much appreciated.
Now, Sean, that was worth staying up for, my man. I mean, we're worth
Yeah.
it too, but that was. Thank you for saying hello. I mean, they're like I said, amazing people.
All right, we'll just move on.
Or what are we doing? I had to get my makeup fixed, and they did my hair. And
Yeah.
so.
Oh, here I go again. I think it's time. I keep on pushing the wrong button, but you know what? Let's see what I have here.
And you got shaky hands today, bro. What is going on? You're rusty.
I don't know. My audio's out. It's been so long, right? Got the wrong thing going. Now I'm turning on YouTube TV. I don't know what's happening.
Is Jen still in the chat or no? She bounced. My man, you're risky with the sports, bro.
So
That's not even like a classic. That's happening like
that'll look
right
good.
now.
Hey, let's see what's happening at the French Open, guys.
Dude, you're like, I'm good. You definitely know somebody at Google, no doubt. Somebody in the family definitely works there. Oh man, Barack Obama.
I'll just leave it on this for a while. Okay, my friends.
Just Barack Obama. That's a great name.
Barack Obama, is that a name? Wait. Let me
Barack Obama. It's a perfect name. Love you too.
All right. I think this is a great place to end it with Barack Obama.
Oh, we're leaving?
We
We're
love
done?
you too, Barack Obama.
We're done already? Wow.
We got to end on a high note, my friends. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I apologize for my audio difficulty. That's why my teammate is here. When I fall, he stands up. And as far as future content, I'll tell you what I'll be doing over the next few weeks, and then Brian will close out what he's going to do. So I just got the 3110 last week. I'm so excited. I got the Bravia 9 over here. We got the 900D. We got the QM8. We got the G4. We got the S95D. Lots of fun comparisons to be had for you guys. We're going to do different types of content, sports, brightness, shadow detail, whatever. We'll know. And then we'll have M-Wave, right, Brian? We're going to start talking about M-Wave next week. It's on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd in Kansas City. Come on by and check it out if you can. And this is such a good year for TV reviews. I'm just so excited for sure. And before I get to you, Brian, let me get this super chat so I don't forget. And this next super chat, and then Brian will close this out with what he's going to be doing. Hey, Brian, no worries. Look forward to watching the U8N QM8 at M-Wave. Your reviews are awesome. You really show what the TV can really do. I am now convinced that Mikey is your daughter.
My daughter. No one watch. Only my friend Brittany is watching right now. My family does not watch.
Hey, Sean.
You do that YouTube thing? Oh my god.
Sean Paul drives an M3. I need to get one of a 911 and put it up there. To Brian and FOMO, would you categorize the Bravia 9 as revolutionary or just evolutionary? Okay, so I'll start and then Brian can close off with this answer and then tell us what he's doing this week. I think the Bravia 9, for what I've seen, is evolutionary because it's still the same technology. LCD, Mini-LED. But with all of those same technologies, they have fine-tuned it to perform better than it ever has, given Sony's priorities. Color saturation and processing and natural shadow detail, right? So for them, it's evolutionary, and all they did was add more dimming zones, and each Mini-LED, they gave it a 22-bit level of control, right? So they didn't do anything revolutionary per se, like QD OLED, quantum dot, right? A whole new material. So for me, it's evolutionary. Brian, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, it's evolutionary. There's nothing revolutionary about it. It's still a mini LED. It's still basic technology where FOMO has talked about the changes they've made. I mean, you're going to see micro LED very, very soon. Hopefully sooner than you guys think. You'll see a consumer micro LED on the market. There are some rumors of that. Phosphorus OLEDs. You know, I thought that quantum dot OLEDs were revolutionary. So it's not that jump. It's still a mini LED, but it's excellent. So for me, you know, they're really not just refining now, they're taking that next step into peak brightness and impact. So, I mean, to me, it's just evolutionary, but it's an amazing TV. I love the TV, so it's awesome. Why are we done so early? What do you have, a date, bro? Why are we finishing so early?
Do I have a date?
Do you have somewhere to be? I'm not even in my camera.
Oh, you have time? I thought you had to go.
Nah, bro, I got no family, nothing. I'm by myself.
Oh, okay. Well, let's ask the crowd. Guys, you want us to go for another 15, 20 minutes or so? Let's ask the people.
You guys want- Ask the pipe like, no, we're done.
And
All right.
and KG
All
says,
right, take it easy.
he's like, oh, bye, I'm out of here. Hey, KG, real quick.
So KG, I got the same email. I almost said to them, "Am I getting a loaner for the micro LED?" They're like 140 grand. I'll take two.
And everyone's saying, keep going, go for it. Sure, why not? All right, all right. Okay, guys.
I mean, just,
Well,
I
let
don't
me-
know FOMO. I mean, back in the day, we had to do 5-6 hours. Now, like an hour and a half, you're done, baby. One trick pony, kid. You out?
I was just respecting your time, my friend. I didn't know
No,
you had
my
family
time, I
waiting
got
for
nothing.
you, you know. I didn't want to
Nah,
cause,
forget them.
what do they call it?
Forget them.
Marital discord?
Do you guys remember terrible movie Harlem Nights with Eddie
Harlem
Murphy and
Nights.
Arsenio Hall? Do you remember that movie? And
I remember the
guy
name.
calls his wife and he's like, his son answers like, Billy, put your mom on. He's like, I ain't coming home no more. And, I'm good tonight, so we're hanging out.
Oh, I'm going to get nailed for this one. I better get out of it quick.
Oh, Disney? That's a terrible show, by the way. Put that crap on there.
So you know what? I'm going to set all the TVs to filmmaker. Because I want people not to think, this is too bright or
Why
whatever.
are you a filmmaker? You
Oh,
guys
only
are-
because everyone wants to go, well, what is it like accurate? So, I'll just put in filmmaker. Just so you guys
It's
can
like
see.
mud.
Morbid curiosity for you guys, I'm sure. Yeah, static mode.
CJ, yes. If there is a micro LED, I would love to see. I mean, you see him at CES. Cosmo actually and his family had the unibody, the ones, which is ironic because Fomo and I were filming them at CES, and Cosmo hit me up and says, no, they had two of them. So I'd love to see a micro LED, especially the Samsung ones, to see how the pixel response is, to see how it is with content. See how it is with gaming. I'd love to really see how it performs with real content. The micro LEDs are unreal. I mean, they're unbelievable. So yeah, I would love to see. To me, that's the end all be all is a micro LED. OLEDs, I love them. It's just that they're maxed out at size. I mean, the G4 at 97 inches is $25,000. So you guys are complaining about $5,000 for an 85-inch. Can we talk about real quick about value? I know
Yeah.
that we think that these TVs are expensive. The Bravia 9 at 85 inches is actually very affordable in comparison to what these TVs cost a few years ago. A90J, 83 inches 3 years ago was $8,000, and nobody said a word. So I know our expectations have changed because of the economy and because of Hisense and because of TCL, but I mean, these TVs are actually pretty reasonably priced for what they are. And if they do feel expensive, that's why the Bravia 7 is awesome. That TV's great. So so is the Bravia 8.
Can we talk about the Bravia 7 real quick?
Talk about it.
Only
that's the way.
because it's
Which
not
one is
a
the Bravia 7?
Bravia 7. It's not a cheap TV. It's more expensive than the QM8. Is it about the same price as the? I'm sorry, it's more expensive than the QM8. Is it the same price as the Bravia 8? Bravia is a little bit more expensive, right? So
Bravia's a
the
little
7 is in this very difficult spot because it's priced below the Bravia 9 significantly. So a lot of people go, oh, this is a great option. And so you really have to understand why you're getting the 7. But more often than not, I'm going to end up recommending the S90D for a similar price or some cutie OLED.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
the S90D. So FOMO, I'll tell you guys this. The S90B FOMO. What was the S90B at launch, FOMO? 50. What was it? What did you get? The 65 or the 55 when it came out?
65. The 90D, I got the 65.
What was that? Right. So what is the S90D
2000
now
something.
at 77? For the S90D at 77?
At 77, it's still
Right now,
what,
it's
2600, 2500
No,
or
it's
something?
below. I think it's
Oh,
below.
did it drop in price again? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it today. Hold on. Let me look it up.
Yeah, Chuck.
Let's see. S90D.
All
Jumping,
right.
jumping.
Here we go. 3500 still.
For the S90D or the S95?
S90D is 3500, 77 inch.
And what is
Whereas the
like
S89C, if you guys were able to get it for 1800, that's still a phenomenal TV.
I mean, the Vizio P series FOMO, 4,000 back in 2016. Now it's
Okay.
a bargain. Remember that?
Right? And
Good
how
old days of
insulting-
Vizio, baby.
Yeah, and the S95D, 77 inch is like over $4,000, and it's sold out, not even available. You guys are just too much money. What economic challenges here?
We gotta go back to, what was it, 40-year-old version when he's like, I want that warranty for the price of on the house. for FOMO. One night FOMO goes, you guys want these things for free? Man.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice to meet you. Oh no, KG said right there, the S90C. That's
C.
what I saw in store today.
Yeah, it's C.
$18.99.
Get it, guys. Get it.
My phone costs more than that. Come on.
Get it. Because the S90D is not that much better. Get it. And it's twice, S90D is twice as
$18.99.
much.
That's some Kmart double coupon prices right there. And then what FOMO had you doing like AAA, pretend you're a teacher? Was you still doing that?
Walk around with glasses. Well, no, Best Buy is
FOMO was
$18.99.
like, he's like, get AAA, then call them, tell them you're a teacher. It's like, what are you talking about? Oh, man.
I love it. Okay, so Ephraim is like you. He loves the Z series LG 8K OLED. Have you seen the newest 8K? Is it the Z4, Z3, Z4 for 2024?
It's not the Z4. It's actually called the Z3.
Okay, have you seen it yet?
So I have. Yep.
What are your thoughts?
Awesome. It's I mean, Ephraim, the 77-inch Z3 is at Via Electronics right now. It is 77 inches. It does have MLA. Something about 8K and the Z series, or something with the gradients, it just has a richer image. My favorite TVs have been the ZX, the Z9, the ZX, and the Z2 for many years. They didn't add MLA to the 88, I believe. Robert's still trying to get that one, but he has a 77. They're awesome. They're just very expensive. And for me now, gaming at 8K, and FOMO, and I said this off camera, I gamed on the 900D and the 800D. It's just hard on PCs. Even with the 4090, it's just too much disconnect. Not every game scales well. But as far as like a very rich, beautiful image, the Z series is still the best OLED on the planet. But it's hard to recommend the 88 without MLA. Now, that said, FOMO, the G4 at 97 apparently doesn't need MLA. It's that much brighter than the G2 at 97. So that's another TV you might want to pick up.
I had to stop on this image, Brian, because
Stop, baby. Don't be afraid.
it's crazy, but the QM8 looks more like the reference monitor than the S95D. The S95D actually has worse contrast in this image. I don't know because if it's too bright or not. And the G4, I would choose the QM8 over the G4 in this image. It's so crazy. So I turned up the exposure so you guys can see at both ends, right? On the high end, the QM8 is clearly better. In the brightest part of the scene, it feels like it's more depth because it's so much brighter in the very center. But then on the outer edges, the black levels are simply amazing as well. I'm telling you, I think we're about 3 years away from people being unable to distinguish between OLED and Mini-LED. And so, I mean, we might be almost there right now. Like in this image alone, you would be unable to distinguish it. It's that good. So for those who are saying, oh, you know, you guys are against OLED. Well, I have to pick and choose an image every now and then. This is the one.
I mean, like, how are we against the OLED? I got like 9 of them. How are we against them? I love them. The problem with OLED is they are running out of size. They're running out of innovation in that regard. Mini LEDs are just getting larger, and they're high quality. So FOMO, we thought last year, we did a video on it, that we thought mini LEDs were dead in the water.
Yeah.
That they were done. So the fact, and we thought that, and we said this last year that we only thought that value and size is where they would survive. We didn't know that they'd be hitting it up a notch, but they
No.
are. So,
I
but that's
really
okay
thought,
if you like it. But if you like OLEDs, FOMO, and then here's the thing: if you're somebody who's an enthusiast and you're not a brand loyalist or a technology loyalist, if mini LEDs surpass OLED, don't we all win?
because then OLED
Right?
doesn't rest
So,
on its laurels, right? I
yeah, and
firmly
that's what
believe
happened. That's what
that,
happened. Yeah.
yeah, I think, I mean, LG aside, they did a great job this year, but Samsung, I think, rested on its laurels and just added that coating, and that was it. They were done. The processing on the S95D is not improved. As a matter of, well, okay, the tone mapping is improved, but the motion was not. It looked very similar to what it was last year, low bit rate processing. The 900D is improved, though why didn't they move it to the S95D? And Geo has a great question about the Bravia 8. I haven't seen the Bravia 8 next to anything else, but Brian, I think you've seen the Bravia 8. What are your thoughts on the Bravia 8? I mean, is it worth considering or just get the A80L?
Hold on, I lost you. Oh, I froze. Hold on, I'm back. Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
All right. The A80L is excellent. I would say if you want the Bravia over it, it's namely a bit brighter. I think C4 over C3. The pixel boost is there. It is the newer panel. You also have the new UI that the A95L had. You also have 3 gaming presets the A80L doesn't have. So if those things are important to you, the new UI, the new interface, obviously, and all that, then I would go with the Bravia 8.
Oh, and yeah, you know what? You mentioned something I forgot to address. I need to check out and test Prime Video Calibrated mode on the Bravia 9 compared to on Prime Video on other TVs to see if the calibrated mode does anything different or better. Because that's one
Is
of the
that
big
live
things.
yet? I'm not sure that's live yet.
Oh, you know what? I need to talk to my Sony people. I need to text them right now.
I don't think it's live yet.
It's not live yet? Okay, what a disappointment.
Yeah, I don't
So I
think
can't
it's live
test it yet. Okay. All right. This is a great scene, actually, because you can see the banding and stuff on this one. If your TV isn't up to snuff with low bit rate, you could actually see the banding on that last one. Actually, I'll tell you right now how the banding looks. I wonder if there's banding on my reference monitor.
Send it back.
All the TVs passed the test. All right. I was going to
Am I
say,
laggy?
my reference
Am I
monitor.
very laggy in this thing?
All the TVs passed. I was going to say, no, my reference monitor has banding, but it wasn't.
Bro, am I tiled on your thing? What's up with these things?
You're pixelated. I think you're like 480p, man.
Dude, I got fiber over here, baby. I'm plugged in.
You plugged into 480p fiber.
I got fiber, baby. It's you. You want me to jump out and come back in?
Nah, that's all right. That's all right.
Oh, you don't need to see my pretty face? That's what I'm trying to say.
I think you're. It's all good. I can hear your voice. FOMO, how's your Q90R holding with today's TVs, and how is it compared to the B9? Oh, do I have something to tell you about that? Gio, this is a great comment. So, and I know Brian knows about this because I've been complaining about it for the last year now. So the Q90R was a flagship TV from 2019. It was one of my first TV reviews. I bought the 90R, the A9G, and the Vizio Picantum X at the time. And the 90R was so good because I loved the black levels. It was impactful, right? Everything that you want full array local dimming to be on a TV. And it was my standard for the longest time. However, today, it is now obsolete. Based 100% on its inability to tone map anything above 1,000 nits properly. And this breaks my heart because at the time, I had no way to confirm that the stuff I was testing was above 1,000 nits. I was testing with Alita, a whole bunch of different movies. Turns out they weren't even bright. That's why it looks so good on the 90R. Now that Netflix is adding more brighter content, and I'm watching the 90R on a daily basis, by the way, because this is one of my rooms at home. And I'm like, I see clipping on skin. Like, you have the sweaty skin and the light shines on it. It's a Netflix, right? And so I was very unhappy. But then I have the QM. It wasn't a QM8, it was a TCL right before the QM8 in another room, and it tone mapped it better. So you got a 2021 TV tone mapping better than a flagship from 2019. And this 2021 TV was a TCL of all TVs, right? Because this is supposed to be budget. So that lesson I learned is the newer the TV, regardless if it's a budget or a flagship, technology raises all boats, right? When they say the tide goes up, it raises all boats. When it comes to this stuff, all the TVs improved. And so this year, we are in 2024, the 90R looks less and less watchable for me. I am tempted to take home the A95L and replace it with the 95L or possibly the Bravia 9, but I need to test it more. So, or the QM8, I have the 2023 QM8 over there. It's already lost to the 2024, so I might bring home the 2023 QM8, but any of these TVs would do better than my Q90R now. And it's the simplest thing. I was watching Warrior, right? Warrior, very simple, Netflix, Cinemax, HBO Max type stuff. It did not look good in those bright scenes where the skin is like, Witcher also exposed it in those scenes with its bright candles. Reflection off the face clips it. If it's a candle's clipped, you don't notice. If a face is clipped, you're like, ooh, that does not look good. So sadly, Gio, it is done. But today's Samsung tone mapping, spot on. The 90R, unfortunately, early days of HDR still, did not do the trick anymore. Does not do the trick anymore. But Brian, what do you think about that? What is this makeup? Oh, I thought that was a commercial. I'm sorry, Jen. I thought it was a commercial.
Jen.
It's actually her content.
I know all these by heart, by the way. I know them all by heart.
Okay. But what are your thoughts, Brian, that a TV that was flagship in 2019, by 2020, I'd say 2023, because I noticed this last year. By 2023, the tone mapping is not good enough.
No, and that's why when I hear, look, I love the Z9D. I love plasmas. They just cannot compete at all compared to what we have now. Even the 930E and the QN9FN, all those TVs are legendary. I go back and I see a lot of those TVs. I still have some of them. Once you play them, the processing, the up conversion, they're laughable in comparison. Even LG caught up after the C8, the C9. It's really changed quite a bit. So that's why we tend to recommend the newer models, not because we're shilling, but the thing is, you want to go back and get a TV from 3 years ago. I'll give you an example, FOMO. A lot of people really want the Z9K. They want the A90J. The A80L with the A90J chassis is a much better TV.
Mm-hmm.
The A80K was better. The processing was better. Now with XR Clear, it's actually not close at all. So we do recommend, those TVs are great, but it just processing is, again, it's not just the up conversion, FOMO, as you're mentioning, it's tone mapping, things of that nature are a big deal.
Brian, guess who just woke up to get us another super chat? Thank you, Sean.
Sean, bro. Are we the next day? Sean, are you in the future or are you in the past?
It's like 3 a.m. over there, 4 a.m. Why do TVs get bad and this is a great one, by the way. Thank you for this comment. Brian, I talk about this a lot. Why do TVs get bad reviews when they release, like the S95D got, but later opinion changes? Whose fault is this? Look how it's shining today. Yes, it is shining. Thanks a lot for today. So much knowledge and fun. So I'm going to start off, Brian, because I think you're going to have a bit to say. So the S95D for me, or just any TV review, I start with the strengths first because the weaknesses, unless it's so obvious, right, it takes time to develop. So for me, the S95D immediately was bright. But then, because the matte anti-glare was such an obvious feature, I had to immediately test it. And so the brightness is done, but how do we test that matte, right? So for me, the matte, I was misinformed, or maybe I misunderstood. I thought it was specifically for bright backlight behind you on the TV. Instead, that made it worse. Turns out the matte anti-glare is specifically for ambient light that's bright, and a little bit of specular behind you, that's fine. But if the room is too bright, it does affect the contrast. Now that I know, I can then explain it properly. But then I could, like right now, it's completely light controlled, right? So it looks phenomenal. And that by the end of the month, the first month I had it, I immediately had my recommendation, which was, this is a darkroom TV. If you happen to have some bright lights behind you, great. You won't see it, but it may affect the image quality, and I was done. However, in a dark room, I think I was pretty consistent. This is one of the best TVs you can get in a dark room. And I didn't think the anti-glare affected its image quality on the images that I shown. So the S95D, for me, continues to be the same great TV. Now, other reviewers, they may be focusing on different things, and that's important to them. And so you have to understand what's important to you. Find those reviewers that share those priorities. That way, when they're disappointed in a TV, it's likely you might be disappointed because those same features are important to you. Like, I never tested the One Connect, so I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, once again, the One Connect doesn't work. I don't game at that level. But Brian, what do you think about the mainstream or just popular comments that one TV starts off really bad and suddenly later changes to be better, or vice versa? It ends up being terrible after the hype.
So this is the beauty that we do what we do. I don't even do full reviews until the end of the year, just because the TVs do evolve. They do change a great deal with firmware updates. And I do think that's why the written review is actually dead, because you can get a TV in the beginning of the year, review it, have it be totally changed by the end of the year, or features are added. Or Sean, like the S95D, I judged it on what I saw against the WOLED when I was at Samsung. And then I saw it at Samsung itself, and it did change my mind. And then once I spent time with it, it changed my mind differently. If I did a review based on what I saw at CES, that would have gotten a terrible review, if that makes sense. So because we do this and we do so much content, and then we do speak to each other, meaning we don't sway each other, but we do share each other's thoughts, or agree or disagree, that is flexible change. Instead of saying it was a 6.2 last at the end of the year and now we're done. That's why I think that solid review is dead in the water. I think we can change and be flexible as the TV changes, and they do change. And that's why I think bad reviews, a review of a TV that was done 4 months ago, doesn't even matter anymore. Right? So back to what KG about 65 inches, right? So what's KG's review going to say? Oh, only at 65.
Right.
The 85 wasn't even out yet. So if he just did a solid review, now KG has the context to say, hey, the 85 may perform better. But if he did a written review 2 months ago, that TV would get what he said. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the guy's got a living, breathing community and channel, he can then change the narrative to whatever he has seen since then. Does that make sense, Sean? So I don't think you should just watch a review. So even when I see reviews, I should say this. If I see a review from 2 years ago, I do check to see what it's doing now. It's a lot like video game releases, how they change. If a game comes out and it's terrible because of firmware updates, 6 months later, it's in better shape. That's how TVs are now. So I think bad reviews, it's done. You have to really have a story the whole year, FOMO. The entire year is why we talk about these TVs. Because TVs like the G3, FOMO, what was it, the C2 a few years ago was dead in the water. By the end of the year was our favorite TV, our most recommended.
Well, it was, or also that one with the bandwidth fiasco, high bandwidth, low bandwidth. Remember that one? 48 gigabit bandwidth versus 40 gigabit bandwidth.
Yeah. Well, and look,
you have
even
this
KG just said.
Yeah.
But even KG just said, I didn't review the Bravia 9 yet. It's just our first impressions. And that's why we do first impressions, guys. Reviews, we cannot do a review in one day. So I'd be leery if anybody gets a TV and says, It's this, and they send it back in a day. It's impossible to do a review
Yep,
on a
I
TV
agree.
in a few hours. It's
Yeah.
impossible. There's no way you're actually testing. I can't do that at Value Electronics one day. But what I do is I'll have to see all three sizes. And look, KG just said my reviews take 2 to 3 weeks longer sometimes, right? I spent 30 days with the 800D. 30 days to be able to give you a full review on it. And even then, that TV might change. That's what's different, Sean, is that they are not complete. They are organic in that way. They change throughout the year. And that's what's so important. So that's why watching our channels, and FOMO said this, find the reviewers that are similar to your tastes, right? And then go by that. So if you have somebody who just says, I've seen people say, I hate matte screens, they're total garbage. Okay, well, now you know that reviewer does not like matte screens. So they're not going to be flexible at all. I don't like them either, FOMO. I would buy the S95D in a heartbeat if it was 83 inches. Probably over the G4.
That says a lot.
Just because I like the game. Yeah, but my point is, Sean, if you went by what I said at CES, then if that was my review, we would have been done. And it's not responsible.
Sean has a
We're
good question.
not journalists.
It's just, yes, we're not journalists. We're entertainers and reviewers. Sean, why no one talks
Well, you're the
of
entertainer.
LG
I'm
mini
serious about
LEDs?
this.
Are they so bad? So Sean's referring to the QNEDs so this is why they're so bad. So let me just cut to the chase. They are branded like they're a flagship TV. The reality is LG treats them like they're mid-tier TVs. So to put them up against a flagship TV, a flagship LCD, mini LED TV from Hisense or TCL or Samsung or Sony does a disservice to the QNED, because the reality is they are not flagship TVs. I hate to say it, but the reality is they've threw it out. They mailed it in, right? And so at the end of the day, QNED from LG, it's just not what it could be, because they put all their resources into OLED, and that's fair. And that's why I've been disappointed twice, and I've stopped reviewing it altogether. I think KG has this year's QNED, and he was definitely not impressed. KG's here, maybe it changed because he holds on to it for 30 days. Maybe on the 30th day it got better. But at the end of the day, the problem is that. Go ahead, Brian. You saw it.
But I saw the QNED at LG, and I thought it was good, right? But again, it was by itself. The problem with LG and QNED is that even having a relationship with them, I've gotten no information about when they're releasing, when they're coming out, what they're capable of. So Robert has an 86-inch there that we haven't even had a chance to shoot yet because other TVs have come out. There's not a lot of interest in it, right? So we talk about cultivating these stories. There's not an interest from them to get them important, regardless of if they're good or not. They could have been excellent, and I wouldn't know because I'm not seeing them. I'm not hearing about them. By themselves, they're probably fine. Going against the other TVs, I would say probably not.
Yeah.
Because mini LEDs have just stepped up so much. We were hoping that the QNEDs would be elite mini LEDs from LG, but if they're, as you've mentioned, a lower version of OLEDs, then there's no point in even looking at them. Just because Hisense and TCL are smoking everybody.
Yeah.
And no, I don't watch Marvel movies anymore, CJ. It's just trash. The whole thing is trash, bro.
Wait, KG wants you to know he's not going to hide anymore. That TV sucked. After all these, after seeing the Bravia 9, you know what?
KG filmed it. What, KG filmed it in the dark? He filmed it. He's like, let it go.
Okay, so Kine Aura, his question is, I have a problem with in-wall HDMI 1.4 cables. My plan is to stream over Ethernet to Apple TV 4K to avoid using the HDMI cables. Does this make sense? So I'm assuming you're using Ethernet to connect your visuals. Is that what you're saying? I'm unclear. Are you using Ethernet cables for video? Which there are, right? You could do it over Ethernet, and you have the adapter converter to convert it back to HDMI, but you have to make sure the handshakes are there. Don't have CEC. Don't use CEC with that, obviously. but just have it for a straight video connection, if that's what you mean, right? Video over Ethernet instead of HDMI 1.4. So I'm assuming that's what you're asking. That's what the pro installers do in their larger installs. So they don't have to run HDMI cable, they run Ethernet instead. Did you guys hear of the TCL QD Mini LED X955 Max? It is possible to reach 5,000 nits. Here in Germany, they measured it. So, Jacob, this is a great comment. I think this is the same model as the one that Vincent HDTV Test reviewed, right? Except he had the 115-inch model. So, it's still LCD Mini LED. If the numbers that he hit can be extrapolated down to the 85-inch size, this is the next generation I'm talking about at the 55 or the 65, 75, 85-inch size next year. If TCL could bring that level of performance to the QM8 in 2025, now you're arguably exceeding the ability of my reference monitor to beat. And that's nuts. In 1 year, now obviously my reference monitor has a few things they don't have, but the fact that they can, on spec hardware, they can do what they're doing right now at a 115-inch size is just unbelievable. So yeah, Jacob, if this is like the one that Vincent reviewed, I'm so excited for that TV. I mean, after watching his review, I'm like, oh my God, the way he described it, this is like, why even get an OLED at this point? Because if you're watching normal content, this will blow you away. Brian, what are your thoughts about what's coming out of TCL?
Just some dudes that look like Zoolander.
I love Zoolander.
I got the model resting face.
It just needs to.
That's actually how my daughter says that.
Blue Steel, Ferrari.
Yeah, when I'm thoughtfully paying attention, I'm like,
you know what? My wife says that. He goes, why does Brian always have his model face on? He looks like he's always in Blue Steel.
Model resting face.
Sean is doing an all-nighter. Maybe
Sean, go to bed, damn it!
It's Saturday, right? It's the weekend. Hey, thanks for the answers. Thank you, Sean, for the questions
like
and your super chat.
In the future.
Actually, I'm watching the stream on my old X90J 75-inch TV. I remember it got bad reviews, but later were improved. Have to give it to Sony. All my Samsungs got DSC and returned it. This has been my savior. So, Sean, maybe this is your answer. Get the Bravia 9. Well, I know you have to wait 5 months, but you see the issue? If the 900D, if Samsung consistently has given you bad DSE every year, right? Don't give 900D a chance. Just go to the Bravia 9. I know you have to wait 5 months, but at least Sony has proven itself. That would be my suggestion. But thank you for staying up with us, Sean, on your X90J. That's, yeah. I was one of those that was disappointed over the X90J.
So I hope you don't have a job where you have to stay awake. You're probably a truck driver. Oh my God! Good morning.
Okay. Let's go through these questions here. Thank you, Joe, for the super chat. Gents, in a moderately bright room, no direct sunlight. I love the details. Would you take this 85-inch QM8 2023 for $1,400 or the 77-inch S90C for $1,900? I'm coming from a 75-inch TCL. Thanks for your input. I would take the 77-inch S90C, and this is why. You're going slightly larger, so you're not losing in size, but I think the image quality jump from your TCL to the S90C is so good that I want your next upgrade to be an 83 or a 98-inch OLED. Stick with the OLED because I think that's cool. Now the QM8, it's slightly larger, but I don't know.
It's much larger. What are you talking about? It's slightly larger. It's massive.
That's my vote.
Size difference.
That's my vote. 77-inch S90C. Brian, are you suggesting the 85-inch? What do you think?
First of all, the way you said you love the details, you're like, I love the details. It's like, what are you wearing, Joe? Is he wearing some khakis? Polo.
The details of his question. Not the bulging
he's like
muscles.
Yeah, he's like slower. He's like, I'm on the couch. Joe, don't listen to him. Don't go to 77-inch. Come on. Go with the 85-inch QMA. If you like TCL signature already, the jump from 75 to 77 is not large at all. You're going to miss the brightness a bit, probably. I would go right to the 85-inch QMA. Brute force it, just go bigger. If that was an 83-inch OLED, I'd say probably go with the 83-inch, but 85, it's a big jump. I will go that.
Yeah. And
I
I
love
think
when him
this,
and I disagree.
I think
Love the
Gio
details.
has a great comment. We have to do a gut check right now. So, is the LG G4 still your favorite TV this year, or does the S95D win now? And I think for both of us, the G4 was announced as our favorite at the time it was released. And so I'll answer this first. I know Brian might have conflicting responses here. The S95, okay, so for what I watch, the G4 is still my favorite, and this is why. The image processing for motion and the sports that I watch, QD OLED doesn't make a difference to me, right? Yeah, I watch the occasional Netflix, but again, QD OLED doesn't make a difference for me watching Netflix and all that stuff. But if I was to bring a TV to a shootout, I would bring the S95D. But for myself, let's say 25% sports, Netflix, 60%, and then the rest, random stuff, including gaming, I take the G4 because of image processing, motion, settings. I really like how they did it. The Tizen is still favored to me, but for me, the G4 edges out the S95D on those things. So I still have the G4 as my favorite compared to the S95D, but it's my use case. Brian?
Yeah, same thing in the G4 as well. I do like the tone mapping. I do like the Alpha 11. I do like the preference, the professional ability to tone map. I like all that customization. I do feel it's a bit brighter. Comparing them, I felt the G4 was better in every shot. At least it didn't show up on camera, but a lot of times I felt the G4 was better. Gaming, they're tied for me, but I do like, and I also like the fact that it has the HCIG as well for gaming. So G4, not by a mile though. I mean, slight, if you like
Yes,
Tizen,
let's emphasize, right? If we're to choose fave, we're talking like if it's out of 100 points, you're scoring it, right? And the
yeah,
G4 was like 97. The S95D is
yeah.
like 95, 94. So it's
Yeah,
not like,
I mean,
oh,
we're splitting
yeah,
hairs. I mean, but I would go with the
definitely.
G4 still. I mean, the G4 is still my favorite TV overall, but if we were just watching movies and hanging out, the Bravia 9, as far as the HDR impact, takes it at 85. But I'm still, for PC gaming, the G4 still wins.
So we have a request. He had to yell it because I didn't hear him. KG says, pause it here. And I have. So I'm just waiting for the follow-up. Okay. FOMO. Why do some people claim that OLEDs have oversaturated unnatural colors? Those people are all wrong. I don't know who these people are. Maybe it's people from the past. If anything, so first of all, WOLED is undersaturated because at certain luminances, it just cannot reveal the color. So the LG G4, it looks good, but then as you get brighter and brighter, you're going to lose some color saturation. It's unavoidable.
Little, yeah.
And at lower luminances, it feels a little oversaturated because it's a spectrum, right? If you address the high luminance saturation and you add color saturation to that, you're going to oversaturate at the bottom. If you saturate the bottom perfectly, as you get brighter, you're going to desaturate the top. So the TV makers, they have to decide what the poison is, right? And then QD OLED, in this case, it feels to me that the 95D may be just a little oversaturated in the red, but that you can fix in calibration. So that's another thing, is the people who are claiming this, are their TVs calibrated as well? Because that same criticism applies to LCD TVs as well. Some are oversaturated, like last year's QM8, oh my gosh, the magenta and the red was just oversaturated. And are they in the right setting? If you have all these TVs in Filmmaker, which I technically do, the S95D is Filmmaker, the G4 is Filmmaker, and the QM8 doesn't have Filmmaker per se, but it's in movie mode, accurate colors. They look nearly indistinguishable in color from the reference monitor. So, and maybe this was 5 years ago. Who knows what happened 5 years ago? But today, I don't think this is a problem. So Peter, don't fret. I think if you get a flagship TV, you should be okay. But do you remember complaints about oversaturation of OLEDs?
Yeah, C8 was like a cartoon. Hello?
Yo, you said something about cartoons?
I said, well, C8 was very cartoony. I remember. That's
Oh,
95B was
so it
very
would be a
saturated.
few years ago. Right.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. Yeah, I mean that was more of their processing, but I think because they were crushing the blacks, I think that was
Now I'm a
it
promoter of
gave it that image.
Tampax. It's terrible.
Check the link. Check the link below. Please subscribe.
Well, at least it isn't ED medication.
Dear best ladies, check the description below.
There we go. I think that's what KG wants. So KG wants me to stop there. Right, KG? Is that it? Anyone have a calibrator they could recommend in the New York City area? The best person to reach out to is probably Value Electronics, Robert Zone. He knows all the calibrators in that area. And I do know that Classy goes by New York at least once every few months. So definitely reach out to Classy on his channel. He does go to New York City many times a year. So I would recommend Classy. Excellent calibrator. Yeah, it does feel like the reference monitor has a deeper green than all the other TVs at this brightness. Isn't that crazy? So it's interesting that KG saw that. Do you see this on YouTube? The reference monitor green is more saturated than the other TVs. Good catch, KG. Now, to be fair, none of these TVs are calibrated. They're all just out of the box at their best settings.
The reference
not
monitor always
calibrated.
looks better. I mean, they're not even close.
But that's amazing saturation. And then, of course, the reference monitor is calibrated, obviously. So, but yeah, wow, that's a really deep, that's a deep green saturation. I love it. And as you can see, the blacks on the QM8 is slightly lifted compared to the monitor and the OLEDs. So this is where people say, but it's not, it's very subtle. If I didn't have them side by side, it would look all the same to me. Guess who's still up, Brian?
Sean, what's up, baby? Tuck
Thank
him
you
in.
for the super chat. Actually, I'm a student of filmmaking, so I can be awake all night. Oh, Sean, tell me, how many dance
Sean.
and singing clips do you have in your movies in India? I love it. And for this show, anytime, always there for our community. Also, you people don't come together often now like today. Final good night. Good night to you, Sean. We've been so busy, Sean.
Good night, Sean.
We will get together
Same
more
thing to you,
as we finish the big ones, the shootout and M-Wave, and then we should have more live streams. But thank you for being part of the
Yeah,
community, my friend.
we were doing every week for a while. It's just that with the TV season, we knew we'd have less of them. That's why we want to come on tonight. So,
Yeah,
I'm glad you guys
definitely.
watched.
B-Love asks, will I be happy with a QM8 51G at 85 inches? I think you will be. If the 65 inch is any indication, I've been told that 85 inches are better, you will be definitely happy. Right now, I have no complaints, given what it is, right? I mean, every TV could be better. There is no perfect TV, but there are no flaws on this TV that I would say, oh, hold on, don't get the TV. I really like this TV a lot. So yeah, highly recommended at 85 inches. Okay. Best TV for movies. This is the $1 million question. All these TVs are great for movies. A Bravia 9, right? If you have the budget, I would say Bravia 9 and don't look back, or I would say Samsung S95D. What is your size? At the 85-inch size, you have the G4, 83-inch. Okay, so best for movies, if Dolby Vision is important to you, get the 83-inch G4. Dolby Vision on the 83-inch G4 nails it because it's accurate to what Dolby Vision should be. If you don't care about Dolby Vision like me, whatever, it's not a big deal. Then it opens up the Sony Bravia 9 and the, what else, the 83-inch size, or the 85-inch size. Then you could save some money, get the TCL QM851G. What is your budget, right? If cost is no object, then it's between the Bravia 9 and the G4 at the 85-inch size. But if cost is an issue, then look at the U9N. Excuse me. Look at the U9N.
Yeah, damn, bro, you okay?
It's like, I'm dying. Look at the U9N at 85 inches, which will be coming out this year, and the QM851G, which is out right now. But definitely let us know. Use case, budget, Dolby Vision.
Yeah, what are you watching? You watching The Notebook, or are you watching Avatar? Are you watching what kind of movies? That doesn't matter in processing. If you're watching older films, you need TVs with better processing.
Yeah.
That's where they will falter. Grain structure, things like that need to be resolved with a higher end processing.
And as I have said, I think it will be up against the Bravia 9. Talk about the TCL. For best mini LED, it looks far too close to OLED.
And remember, FOMO is just doing the 65-inch, so it's not going to be valid, whatever he says.
Yes. Yes. We got to keep that in mind. Let's not.
Yours is not even valid already. It's in the box. Take it back.
Right. Okay. Now, I actually have to get dinner for the family. At this point,
Are you rocking that Korean barbecue, baby? I'm about to get a Korean
I
barbecue
haven't
right now. I'm looking
decided.
at it.
Korean chicken wings, right? Banchan chicken, what? So let's
I'm looking at Banchan right now. Okay, let's do it.
let's run for 5 more minutes. Ask your last questions, my friends. If you guys need to make a decision for this summer, save up. Let us know. We'll share with you our thoughts. And M-Wave in 2 weeks. M-Wave, we'll be there. We're going to live stream our show. I have to prepare our agenda for M-Wave. And Brian, what's happening on your channel next week? What amazing review will you be doing?
So right now I have the S95D in the studio. It'll go against the A80L. It'll go against the U8N. I have the 800D, which will go against the A80L and the U8N. I have the Z3 to film. I have the Bravia 7 to film at 85. 85 Bravia 7 versus the Bravia 9 at 85. I have the Bravia 8 at 77. So everything.
It's an embarrassment of witches, my friend.
It is. I mean, the point is, it's YouTube's changed so much for us. I think KG will agree with this. Is that there's only so much interest for these TVs for a small period of time. The S90 is one I wanted to review. The TV came out a while ago, but I wanted to see how it did against the A80L at 83. I'm very impressed with it. So I have that. And we have M-Wave. M-Wave, it'll be days with us down there. But if you get a chance, go and meet us in person. You'll be able to hang out with us the whole time. It'll be a blast. So we're going to have a good time. Best TV for OnlyFans content.
Okay. I'm going to answer this, and I found iCypher's super chat. If you're still
You
here,
answer
I
that for
apologize.
Geo? What kind of channel is this?
It would have to be the LG G4, best for OnlyFans content. That means you want to see detail, you want skin tones, you want contrast, you don't want to miss any detail.
Hold on.
G4 has the best low bit rate.
When this guy's hold on, stop the phone. When this guy's channel disappears tonight,
Is this guy's
just
fault?
remember it was this question. So when you say what happened to that it's off the screen. What happened to that famous YouTuber? Oh yeah, for my OnlyFans, I like to watch G4. Why you set up my boy like that?
Hey, I know,
saved
man.
your career right there.
I'm trying to.
I
take
just
the
saved your
question
career
seriously.
right there, bro. You're about to go into skin tones and
The skin
refined
tones.
details.
Gotta go for that. The low bit rate processing, because when your
You don't want
internet's
that
shaky.
detail, baby.
When your internet's shaky, Brian. All right,
Oh, my
iCypher. You get my last super chat, my friend, so it'll be easy for you to find. You're at the very end. If you're still here, I apologize. I will make note of that at the beginning of this video somewhere for you. The 98-inch QM8 is a no-go because viewing angles on VA panel. The U8N 80S Pro no longer comes in 100-inch. Samsung doesn't make a big QD OLED, and G4 is overpriced. MISOL. No iCypher, only this year. Next year, TCL will release their high wide angle HVA panel. Hopefully it comes on a 98-inch. It should increase that wideness, and it should be better than ADS Pro. So iCypher, if you're listening, do not get a TV this year. Wait until CES. Let us check out the wide angle power of TCL's latest VA wide angle technology that they will be selling, or CSOT, that they will be selling to everyone out there, Samsung, Sony, and so we'll see how it really does at that point. Thank you for that super chat, and I apologize that it happened during my audio fiasco. So, Brian.
Yes, dear.
Is viewing angle a problem for you? Because I get this every now and then. No. Are you still thinking of the OnlyFans? Are you still laughing?
That was you, bro. See, you trying to cancel me now? No, I don't watch TV like in the kitchen. So, but I understand what people say. But I mean, I'm in the heavyweight division, so when you're watching TVs that are 80 plus, you're dead center pretty much. I mean, viewing angles to me, unless some people say to me they like to watch TV in another room and like glance over, I don't care about that. So that's not that important to me.
Right.
I'd much rather not have X-wide viewing angles or anti-reflective screens.
Okay.
But if a TV is 55 inches or very small, I can see where it would be an issue. But if you have a huge room where you have angles that need it, you should have a larger TV, in my opinion. It's nice that they don't fade up.
Fraser's comment reminds me.
Here we are, dude. This is going to be the end of you. I'm not. Unlink me.
I have to say, Fraser's comment reminds me of what we saw at CES at Samsung. Do you remember what I'm talking about? OnlyFans in a small screen incognito mode. And I'm reminded that Samsung has this new feature on their TV that when you walk close to the TV, it turns on and immediately goes to the last thing you were watching. And if the last thing you were watching is OnlyFans.
So that was gotta tell the story properly, right? So we're at CES, we're at the Samsung event, and it's all a bunch of middle-aged guys. All of us are standing there. And there was an older middle-aged guy who was talking about now it's all guys, by the way. We're standing there, and he's like, "Hey, for your favorite K-pop star," and it was like K-pop, like these young girls. And he's like, "You can pull up your favorite videos." And everybody was looking at him like, "Nah, we're good." The next exhibit was that anything that is on your phone playing will automatically leap to the screen.
When you walk by the TV. Automatically.
You walk by the TV. Like your family's watching freaking Wall-E, and I walk by, and they got Pornhub on the screen.
Well,
my fault.
See, and this takes us to Fraser. He's walking by, minding his own business on his smallest screen possible in incognito mode. Incognito is suddenly no longer incognito. What the hell?
85-inch 900D.
Oh, Samsung, what have you wrought? All right, my friends, now we're going to say goodnight because it's only going to devolve from here. And
I'm also like 4-bit.
And of course, Jennifer appreciates that her content is the center of this stream as well. Thank you, everyone, for dropping by today. And Brian, thank you so much. Until next time, my friends, stop the FOMO.